Welcome back to St. Louis, everyone. The Edward Jones Dome, the final game of the Show Me Bowl 2012. Tonight, the Class 6 Championship. Francis Howell and Blue Springs for the Class 6 title. Here's how these two teams got here. Francis Howell goes through Hickman and Lafayette to make the championship game here tonight. They're looking for their first ever state title. And the Wildcats of Blue Springs beat Rockhurst back in the Kansas City area, and then they come on to St. Louis last week to meet DeSmet. They beat them 42-7 to make it to the title game here tonight. And hi again, everybody. Neil Harwell, along with a couple of former NFL players, Michael Young and Richard Baldinger. It's great to have you with us here for this Class 6 state title game. Michael, I'll start with you. You had a chance to play in the state championship game a little while back for Hazelwood East. It's a great moment, isn't it?
It's a great moment. I've played in a lot of big-time college football, a couple of good pro games, but you never forget your state championship experience. I'm just fortunate that we won the game.
A lot of fun for you, wasn't it?
Great fun.
How about Baldy? A lot of fun for you. You've been here all weekend watching these games.
I haven't played in it, but I seem like I've been here for a decade. I've seen so many games, but what a way to close out tonight. Two great running backs for both these schools tonight.
Let's stay on that theme. Let's talk about some running backs. First, Michael, let's go over to Francis Howell. They have a good one in Dante Harrell.
With Dante Harrell, the offense really starts with Dante Harrell. He has over 1,500 yards rushing, close to 20 touchdowns. Look for him to run the ball a lot tonight, talking about Dante Harrell.
A lot of ones tonight. He's wearing 11, number 1 for Blue Springs. He's a good one, Baldy.
Yeah, Dalvin Womack, over 2,000 yards. He's accounted for 43 touchdowns in both rushing and receiving. He's got to change the direction, Michael, but also, too, you got to watch him on either the stretch or the counter plane. If he gets a lane, folks, it's usually the express lane to pay dirt land in 7.
It'll be fun tonight. Blue Springs has won 3 state titles in their history. Francis Howell is looking for their first ever state championship. You're watching the Show Me Bowl on Fox Sports Midwest.
Hey, great party.
Oh, thanks. Here you go. 1 hamburger, medium well.
This is well done.
No. That's medium well.
What? Are you calling me a liar? This thing is practically burned.
That's it. You're not going to come to my house and tell me how to cook a hamburger.
You wouldn't do it there.
Gotta be crazy.
So don't do it here. Sportsmanship. It's up to you.
Show Me Bowl 2012 is brought to you by Farmers Insurance and by the Bommarito Automotive Group. Welcome back to the Dome in St. Louis. Getting live in here tonight. You got the Francis Howell folks across the way, near side the Blue Springs. The Magic buses came over.
Yeah,
Baldy.
we did. We had a little hoop coming in. I was like, I don't even need a Mountain Dew. I got the hoop playing right now.
And they brought those buses over. Michael, you saw how they traveled well last week,
Yes.
I think, when they came over to play DeSmet.
Yeah, I believe I counted 3 bus loads just for the students. And I'm not talking about the luxury buses. I'm talking about the yellow buses. All the way down from Kansas City. The crowd came out. It was an electric atmosphere. And Blue Springs basically came down and took care of business.
That's
Brian
a tough
Koch.
crowd. If you could travel on a school bus 4.5 or 5 hours, you got to be a tough one.
School pride.
That's right. Brian Koch's in his 6th season here at Francis Howell. He's a guy you know very well, Micah. You played in college with him. Tell us a little bit about Coach Koch.
Well, Coach Koch, he's a fiery guy. He was an all-Big Ten, all-academic performer, and he believes in running the ball. That's why we're going to see Dante Harrell tote the mail a lot. But keep your eye on him if you can on the sideline. He's an intense guy. He said no Red Bull needed. He has natural energy.
So we got to dial him down a little bit. That's
Tone
what
it back
you're
a little
telling me.
bit, yeah.
Just like Baldy, another offensive lineman. Baldy, tell me about Kelly Donahoe, the Blue Springs coach.
Well, you want to know about Kelly Donahoe. When you see him, he seems meek and mild-mannered, but inside, he's got the Red Bull raging every time. I'll tell you, he comes out, he wants to play a physical game. Talking to him this week, he said, you know what I learned from 2009, I better make sure that I not neglect anything. Last time it was special teams. This week he worked a little bit extra. Wants to make sure you cover everything when you're in a championship game.
And now he's the former quarterback at the University of Kansas back in the late 80s, and he brings the team in here again. He's been here quite a few times. Last time was back in 2009 when they lost to Hazelwood Central in the title game.
It was actually a really good game, and it came down special teams. A big punt return changed the whole momentum of the game. So that's why today, championship game, you know about it, Michael.
Yep.
Got to perform well defensively, offensively, special teams, take care of the football.
Yeah, and I wonder with Francis Howell with their first ever trip to the Dome, you wonder if the moment's going to be too big for them. The stage, the bright lights. I'm pretty sure Coach Coke did his best to try to calm these kids down, but you just can't help with your adrenaline rushing with the crowd roaring. After every play you do well, and after every play you do bad.
Think back for me. When your moment came and you went to the title game, what was it like for you? How did you get yourself ready and dial yourself down?
I mean, everything was just a blur. Our coach said we're going to start out the game blitzing. We're going to be extra aggressive. We got the first turnover in the game against Blue Springs South, which Coach Donahoe was on that staff, and he lets me know about it every time I talk to him. He said, man, you guys basically shut us out 42-3. But it was just a tremendous honor, and I kind of remembered when I watched the game. I also want the guys to look up in the truck. I still have the record for the longest fumble return for a touchdown.
All right,
in Michigan
then.
history, yeah.
So
get
we
on the
broke
guys
out,
in the truck.
We broke out the stats.
Wait a second now. Your former offensive lineman talking about running now. We didn't do any of that stuff.
But only when I was a defensive end.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
I was going to ask you, Francis Howell, is it natural turf or do they have the artificial turf also too at their facility?
Well, they have the artificial turf.
Do they?
Well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because some of the schools we've seen that have been practiced like Penny, they actually had to come a couple days before to work on the artificial turf. And as you know as a former player, get going from the natural turf to the artificial changes all your footwork.
Yeah, it's a bit of an adjustment, but you can kind of get by with some molded cleats. You don't want to wear those 7-stud or 6-stud spikes if you're playing in a heavy rain game.
I just wore sneakers because I was so slow. I had to make sure nothing held me back.
Michael, as a defensive player, Blue Springs wins the toss, but they defer. Do you like that as a defensive guy going out there first if you're Blue Springs?
I want to go ahead and get all the nerves out, and then you get a chance to see what you're dealing with from an offensive perspective.
So they boot it deep, taken there by Connor Flynn, and he is wrapped up.
You'll see this guy, 41, Jason Young.
Yeah.
He's going to show up, Neil. He's on the 4x100 team, and he's a nose tackle.
That's your nose guard. Here's the sophomore quarterback. At the beginning of the season, the quarterback was Brett Siebenschuh, and he got injured in the first game of the season, and they've kind of gone with a dual system, haven't they, Michael?
They have, and Coach Coke believes in running the ball, so it really doesn't matter who he has at quarterback. You're going to just see a heavy dose of the run game, and he'll throw if he has to.
So 1st and 10 for Francis Howell. They go right to work with Howell, and he is stuck right at the line of scrimmage. That was Young and also Lee coming over to make the stop. A couple of good ones there.
Yeah, they do, and Lee on that side. And this is the 4-2-5 defense. Excellent job at the linebacker position. Flow very well hard, but Elijah Lee on that backside, I think you're going to have to get a helmet on him. He can close the corner too quick.
Brings up 2nd down, giving no gain on the play as they sweep the ball to the left side, and once again the Blue Springs defense is there. Toting the rock that time is Connor Flynn, and let's look at that defense of Blue Springs. You just saw the offense of Francis Howell. Continue on with Jason Young. That guy's a nose guard, and he's on the 4x1 team.
Talking about a quick first step, really explosive, causes a lot of havoc in the backfield. I'm glad he's got the same last name as me.
And that secondary has performed well the last couple of weeks. Glass running out of the pocket. This is what he gives you, the ability to run the football. And it looks like he's just short of that first down.
And get a quarterback. And Michael, I'll defer to you on this as being a linebacker. Just kind of explain when you have that mobility at the quarterback position, how it kind of changes your eyes and what you're looking at on the field. Always got to kind of sneak a little bit.
Yeah, as a defender, you always want to get downhill and charge the line of scrimmage because you see the ball and you want to go get ball. And nothing worse than playing against a multi-purpose quarterback. Just luckily he didn't get that first down.
Zach Perkins, the punter the special teams player of the year in the conference, kicks it away, and waiting on it back there is the dangerous Darius Shepard. And he comes out to midfield to about the 49-yard line. That's where the Wildcats will start on offense.
And, Neil, I was just going to mention that Dalvin Warmack's brother, Trayvon Warmack, is actually starting at that one of the defensive tackles, the 3 technique. He is a real run stopper, so it'll be interesting to see how they handle him at Blue Springs on defense.
Yeah, he'll flag it up.
Him and Jason Young together inside.
Well,
good combination.
And also, they really create a lot of pass rush lanes for Elijah Lee, another person, number 11, defensive end for Blue Springs, who we're going to mention tonight.
Yeah, he was in on that first stop of the ball game. So here go the Wildcats on 1st and 10 with their running back, Dalvin Warmack, who scored 43 touchdowns this season, and there he goes. And he's got the right side, and he's close to a first down.
It's the toss out to the side, got a nice shot on the edge.
We look at the Blue Springs offense across the front. They're big, led by the big guy, Tyler Tank Thompson, 6'3" and 325, the senior all-conference. There's Tank.
Well, wait a second. It was Thanksgiving. So what was the way you came? It might be a little different, buddy.
A little bit of cornbread, some turkey. He might be tipping it at 331. These guys are svelte, though, the ball handlers. You saw Warmack. He's outstanding, but, man, some other firepower at the wideout position, and they are led by Wilson Lamb, the quarterback, 6'2", 195, the senior. He's thrown for over 1,800 yards on the season. Lamb comes to the near side, and here is Shepard breaking a tackle up the sideline and down inside the 25.
Howell Dinkle coming back on the field block that time.
Talking about Dashawn Terry, number 5.
Oh.
You're going to see an open field on the left of your screen, just giving Shepard a little bit more running room. You can see that block right there at the end.
Blindsided.
Yeah. Talk about number 5, Dash Terry.
4.3940, and man, he came back. Stepped in the middle of I-70 on that one.
He did.
Adam Fazio is the injured player down there.
It looks like he's got his hand right on his hip. I'm not sure if he got not feeling good right now, seeing some stars spinning around.
That was an 18-yard hookup. Darius Shepard.
Yeah, they can afford to lose Fazio.
That's a great sign there.
Yeah. Terry on the field back here. Great job in terms of finding somebody. You know what it's like, Michael's defense. You got to have eyes in the back of your head, man, on the side of your head.
Yeah, you just got to kind of feel those guys. If you're running clean to the ball, just kind of look out the corner of the eye because somebody's coming back for you.
Or you might be looking at the corner of your helmet from then on.
So that brings up first down now. 1st and 10 from the 23-yard line. Blue Springs on their opening drive. They run with Warmack. They come with the pass to the near side to Shepard. Lamb keeps this one. And he's down to the 15, a gain of 8. Look at that Francis Howell defense. Tell me about their middle linebacker.
Calvin Munson. I mean, if I can reincarnate myself and play as a clone, I would want to play as Calvin Munson. Averages 15 tackles per game. Not only does he make tackles downfield, but he also makes plays behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, just intense. That's the word they go. In fact, Coach Koch said, he's a dude. Now, what does that mean, Michael? He's a dude.
That means he's just
a man.
A good ball player.
He's a man-child.
There's Lamb on the rollout. Oh, little underhand flip. He got his receiver for a first down. That one's complete to Bissell.
And you see Nick Perkins on the cover from the defensive end position. And again, he's not going to keep up. Tries to come back to Wilson Lamb. Wilson Lamb just doing a little Brett Favre underhanded there. Lays it out. First down on the play.
And Wilson Lamb continuing his hot streak. And that's another element that you have a quarterback who can extend plays. You think you got him dead to rights in the backfield. Just an underhand flip. I mean, now they're looking at 1st and goal.
1st and goal from the 5-yard line. Warmack takes the toss.
Toss walk downfield.
And that's all she wrote. On the first drive of the game, touchdown, Blue Springs.
Oh, you talk about blocks downfield. How about Shepard as a wide receiver?
Oh, Darius Shepard, nice job stock blocking on the outside. I was watching Keltner, the right guard. He gets the cut block in the middle. But again, Shepard, also tight end with Seal. That's the way you keep your hands inside.
That's right.
Warmack just takes off, elevates, in for pay dirt.
Touchdown number 44 on the season for Dalvin Warmack.
It's a special guy right there. Just follow behind his blockers. And speaking of the offensive line, they do a lot of dirty work. He just looks good scoring touchdowns.
And on to try the extra point. That's Blaine Howell up and through there. And it's a 7-0 lead for the Wildcats after their first drive of the ball game. Look again. Dalvin Warmack has now run for 44 touchdowns on the season. Blue Springs on top 7-0 in the Show Me Bowl.
Boo! Hey, where are you going? You can't get by me. I'm number 1 in this class. I rule this lab. I'm number 1. Hey, I don't think so. Yes! Winner! I am the king! Woo!
You wouldn't do it there. So don't do it here. Sportsmanship. It's up to you.
What?
Jerk.
Agents, when it comes to insurance, people feel lost.
That's a dead end.
Don't know which way to turn.
Turn around?
That's why we present people with options, to help them find coverage that fits their needs.
Almost there?
The new Maze record.
Really?
I have no idea. We don't keep track of that kind of stuff.
We are insurance.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
To speak with a farmer's agent in your community, call 888-96-FARMERS.
Thank you. Can I help you today?
No thanks. I'm just looking. Oh, this is cute. So?
You wouldn't do it there. So don't do it here. Sportsmanship. It's up to you.
Like they're the fashion police.
Welcome back to the Show Me Bowl here in St. Louis. Dalvin Warmack just scored his 44th touchdown of the season. That's his 39th on the ground. Remember, he's just a junior, 5'9", 177. Howell will kick it off. Back deep, Land, and Connor Flynn for Francis Howell. This one goes to Connor Flynn. Coming near side. And they swarm on him and get a clean lick at about the 17.
Talk about walking into a purple haze.
Let's go down to Corey Riggs. Corey.
Hey, thanks, Neil. Guys, I talked to Kelly Donahoe, the Wildcats head coach, before we got started here tonight, and he told me they had a great week of practice at Blue Springs. Most importantly, his 32 seniors really took control. They were excellent examples to the rest of the team. And the biggest thing they said tonight was that they were going to respect their opponent. But obviously, they've gone out and jumped on them early. Over here on the sideline, the offense of the unit got together. They said, we are going to try and score every time we're on the field. They feel confident right now in the start of this game.
Glass on the rollout. The intended receiver over there, number 20, Alec Montgomery. And in the coverage, that's Deshaun Terry.
You already see, Michael, they're having to roll the pocket. They feel right now they can't set up in a regular 5 or 7 step drop, can't handle the pass rush. It's going to move the quarterback within, automatically cuts off half the field.
Yeah,
and now
also
limits your options to go downfield with the ball.
Yeah, and also, too, the Vikings have to win on first down to be able to set up their run play in the playbook, because if they can't establish a run, it's going to be a long night for the Vikings.
They give to Harrell. Has some room on that left side, and he's out across the 25-yard line. They're going to mark him down at about the 25 and a half. That's a nice little run out of Harrell that time. They blocked it well, Michael.
And this is what Dante Harrell can do for you. You just see a zone stretch running scheme, giving him the option to either keep the ball front side, cut up the middle, or take it on the back door. He decided to keep the ball right at the middle, got some more positive yards.
3rd down and 4 after that carry. They give it to Harrell again. He's got room. He's got a first down. He's across the 35-yard line, all the way out to the 39.
Yeah, pursuing quick on the defense that time, but that was an excellent block. A cutback now by Harrell on the zone here. I thought that time on the front side he was taken care of, but Harrell, good vision, able to get backside over pursuit of Hobbs on the linebacker, open up a nice backside lane.
Go ahead, Michael.
No, that's what you have when you have a former offensive line coach who knows how to switch from an angle blocking scheme, which is a man blocking, versus zone. blocking scheme where you don't really have to maul them off the line, just get in position and get in their way.
And what you're trying to do is just get what they call horizontal distortion. You're trying to get that defensive line to just run sideways, and automatically it just opens up a crease because maybe somebody runs a little fast, somebody a little slow. They let your running back find the lane.
Here's Howell making another cut, and he's close to another first down. And a flag on the play. Well, stay on that theme, guys. I mean, just how they came out in their second series here, changed the blocking scheme around a little bit, and look how effective it's been. I guess as a former offensive lineman, I start with you, Baldy. What goes through Coach Koch's mind after he saw that first series to come out and do this?
Well, Michael, I'll say a lot of times you'll go through a whole week of practice. You're working some things, you've studied film, and all of a sudden you go out in the first series, you're like, Coach, that wasn't a very good game plan. We'll throw it out and start all over right now. So it looks like they came out in a rhino formation, full house backfield, and all of a sudden you get a little more lead blocks, you get some people contact, you're meeting linebackers now, and you're sustaining blocks that opens up a crease in that zone running game.
Holding, offense, replay second down.
And my man is starting to play.
Yeah, Coach Koch's in that hurry-up mode.
I don't think I've seen that before.
Usually the officials giving each other love here and letting their buddy get run over.
Usually the white hat gets a little more respect than that. Not going to let him make the call. They're going to go ahead and run a play.
Yeah, to your point, Rich, I mean, for a defensive guy, I played against Denver when they have those running back schemes to where you put Clinton Portis in the backfield. He can cut on a dime and take it for 90.
Glass on play action. Over the middle. Got his receiver at midfield. That's caught there by Swampy, they like to call him. Brandon Swamper Test.
And just running the deep post on this one. And again, nice job on the slide protection. Quarterback has to do good job going into the tight window, placing it. Receiver able to shield with his body, makes the catch.
Yeah, anytime you have a quarterback that can actually step into the throw, might end up being a completion.
That one went for 16 yards. Glass, the sophomore, stepped right up and tossed that one in there. Here goes Howell across midfield. He's got 3 or 4 yards on first down.
Getting a little confidence now, and again on the zone blocking. And I always like zone blocking, Michael, because you could just fire off at one angle. And if somebody disappeared, just keep going to the next level and go to hit it. You didn't have to worry about man blocking where you had to make sure a little bit more under control, because if you missed your guy, no one's going to be there to help you out.
Give it off to Flynn this time, trying to grab the corner, and he won't do it. Running him down, Mason Lally, the linebacker.
Yeah, and that's one reason why you don't want to run an angle blocking scheme, because these guys are too quick laterally. You're going to see the purple shirts building a wall, and you're going to see number 30 just walk down a quicker, more explosive wide receiver in the open field as if he was standing still.
Yeah, and again, initially, I'll give credit to Manning, the defensive tackle, got the press, forced that running back to have to go sideways. Now the linebacker's got a better pursuit angle.
Third down 9 from the 49 of Blue Springs.
Got a dog.
And a whistle.
Double A gap blitz.
They will really pick their moments to turn up the volume when you watch this Blue Springs team.
Yeah, I noticed that last week when they went against the Smet.
Outside.
This is coming to Mike, but I noticed that last week when they went against the Smet, they didn't really have to bring extra bodies.
Dead ball, false start, offense, still third down.
It's almost demoralizing when you can just tee off with your front four up front and have to bring extra blitzes in the back end.
Third down 14 for Francis Howell and the Vikings. Glass scrambling out of there.
Ryan on him, Hobbs.
And he won't make it. Hobbs is there. Also in there making a stop is 49, Gunnar Strickland. Bomarito Cadillac in St. Peters just recently completed Missouri's only exclusive Cadillac facility, and it's absolutely fabulous. Make sure you stop by I-70 and Cave Springs exit in St. Peters. Bomarito's has taken the luxury buying experience to the next level with no charge Cadillac service, pickup, or drop-off.
You mentioned that spy with Ellis, not Ellis Hobbs, but number 52 Hobbs, Rashid. Love the way he plays linebacker. He plays downhill, and he has a lot of protection in front of him.
Yeah, he does. Got the big boys up front. And when they bring the blitz, they make sure they come real tight into those gaps. So as a former lineman, you don't have a chance to really pick them up.
Perkins gets it away. This is Shepard making a couple of guys miss and going ahead for 4 yards on the play before he is stopped there by Nick Lee and Sutton Smith. And we've got timeout. We'll take a break. Blue Springs on top in the title game in Class 6, 7-0.
Boom! Hey, where are you going? Can't get by me. I'm number 1 in this class. I rule this lab. I'm number 1. Hey, I don't think so. Yes! Winner! I am the king! Woo!
You wouldn't do it there. So, don't do it here. Sportsmanship. It's up to you.
What?
Jerk.
Agents, when it comes to insurance, people feel lost.
That's a dead end.
Don't know which way to turn.
Turn around?
That's why we present people with options to help them find coverage that fits their needs.
Almost there?
It's a new Maze record.
Really?
I have no idea. We don't keep track of that kind of stuff.
We are insurance.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
To speak with a farmer's agent in your community, call 888-96-FARMERS.
Downtown St. Louis. Nice little sight for you there, isn't it, Michael?
That's right.
You've seen that a few times.
Sure, you see the arch in the background, see Adams Mark Hotel, Union Station. See a lot of good shots.
Michael's giving us the guided tour here.
Well, that's why I let him go, man. This is
let
his
him go.
place.
Let's just let it happen.
Got the good hospitality going here. Right now, Blue Springs has the football. It's 1st and 10 at the 27-yard line.
One of those times where you need your defense to make the stop right now.
On the give to Warmack. Nice gain on 1st down. The tackle is made there by Nick Perkins.
Yeah, just ran the counter play that time, and that's what Dalvin Warmack gives you. You're thinking that play should extend further, but instead going to the C gap, he just cuts it back and behind that point tackle in the A gap. He loves all those little angles. He'll find the crease. He's got the shiftiness. In fact, in the pro shuttle drill, 3.90, they timed him twice in the offseason and changed the direction. And that's where a lot of D1 schools are starting to look at him right now. He's got that shiftiness. Wow.
And I have to keep reminding everybody, he's just a junior.
Yeah.
So you got another season out of this guy. Here comes Lamb. Out in the flat. He's got Shepard. And out of bounds close to the 1st down as he is driven out by Fazio back in the ball game. So I guess he's okay.
Yeah, he's that overhang safety, which they call him the Viking. You know, that hybrid strong safety / linebacker. They really need him to come back and make plays. And you just want to see him get a little bit closer to his work. You want to give those shifty wide receivers open grass, or else they make you look bad in the open field. Talk about ankle tape.
Yeah, nice. I'll tell you what, that's a nice route by Darren Shepard to create that separation. Drive on that inside foot, get that space and ball thrown for completion.
3rd down and 2. The Francis Howell sideline coming alive, but Warmack's got a big hole. He's got a 1st down, shedding tacklers out to the 48-yard line.
Okay, let me ask you guys something. You've seen Warmack. What about Darian Miller? Is he just as good, if not better, than Darian Miller?
Well, the one thing that Darian Miller has is about 20 pounds, and again, probably a little bit more powerful of a runner, but this is only a junior. He's about 175, 180, but again, he's got the shiftiness. I don't know if he has the top-end speed, but right now, when you got a hole that big, Michael,
yes.
Even me and you could sit down and have a cup of coffee and still get some positive yards. Nice job by Carson Letchworth, the tight end, number 82, whose brother started in the 2009 team here in the
and he wears the same number as his brother, right?
Yep.
Here's Warmack across midfield as the pile just moves. How about those guys up front, Bolden?
Oh, I just talked about them, all of them up front, man. Big Tank Thompson up front. Keltner, number 71. He's probably the most consistent offensive lineman. Also, Broyles, number 75. You talk about guys that just get their feet going. The big machine's happening right now.
Yeah, talking about a purple surge off the line of scrimmage, you're not going to win very many games if you're the defense, if you don't have much resistance at the point of attack.
2nd down 4 after the run by Warmack. And he'll get it again, and he'll go nowhere and like it this time. 85, Eddie Nebo back there to make the stop.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, Eddie Nebo just being a football player in the middle, an outside linebacker coming through on the line stunt, just really getting a chance to fight off some blocks and get Warmack before he had a chance to get going.
Yeah, nice job by Nick Perkins, the defense end, with the offside shoulder. He saw the pulling guard. You can't wait. You got to go make contact. He does. Blows up the timing in the play, and even somebody like Dalvin Warmack can't get outside the clutches of the defense.
Right. 3rd down and 8 at midfield. Lamb keeps it. He is close to that 1st down. It looks like, well, he is right on it. The mark is right on it.
Talk about great quarterback play. He makes some really good decisions. Talking about Ryan Glide to decide, looking at the inside trap, the end on line of scrimmage, followed behind big number 71, Keltner, which happens to be my favorite offensive guard on that offensive line because Coach Donahoe said this guy wakes up in a bad mood.
I'll tell you what, he's got a nastiness about him. He's got a good attitude in line, and he does things consistent, and that's what you got to have to be a good offensive lineman. You have to be consistent in all your steps. He does it week in and week out.
They did give him the 1st down as Lamb kept it and picked it up. 1st and 10 Wildcats. Here's Terry, the guy with all that speed. And he's got a gain of 8 yards. And a flag on the play.
Face mask maybe on that?
Or maybe holding the
wide receiver.
At the wide receiver position on the far side.
Yep. We'll get the call. Michael, as a former linebacker, you talk about that, especially here in the odd front, when that nose tackle can't hold his position.
Yes.
What does that do to your play as the linebacker in terms of what you see and what you have to do?
Well, number one, it's hard to see your reads when you have the nose guard right back in your face, and then the lineman gets off that block and then he hooks on to you, so you can't flow to your proper responsibility. So it makes it tough. That's why you need some big defensive linemen to keep you clean.
Some Casey Hamptons in the middle, maybe?
Oh, sure. Especially a nose guard.
Yep.
All right, I'm not sure what happened there.
It was sideline. I think it was a sideline call there.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Usually they give you a warning on the first one.
Yeah.
I thought there
if
was
that's what it was.
See, Baldy, and Neil, I haven't done high school football that long, but I noticed the referees always do some form of a sideline warning. What exactly is it?
Well, it is guys getting right there into that zone, to that white space. And you know how it is, there's the get back.
The get back. Okay, I got it.
That's it. They need to get back, coach.
Sideline warning, or interference, excuse me.
So they went right to the interference.
What happened to the warning?
Well, I guess somebody must have come out.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of maybe the movie The Mean Machine or something.
Somebody came off the bench and made the tackle. Well, it's a 1st down for Blue Springs at the 28-yard line of Francis Howell. Little misdirection. This is Shepard.
What a tackle.
That was a nice tackle. They think he fumbled, but I think that was caused by the ground. Who was the guy that got the arm out there? Was it Nebo? Or it was Nick Perkins.
Yeah, Nick Perkins at the defensive end position. He gets upfield, just reaches out.
Sure did.
Again, just to run the little guard pull that time. A little misdirection in the backfield. Actually called like a crisscross play.
That was some athletic ability by Nick Perkins.
Again, beating the double team, working inside from the tight end, able to get that hand in.
2nd down 9 at the 27 after that gain of 1. Lamb has his receiver Shepard. Another whistle on the play and a flag.
Across the penalty here, offsides motion. And again, you see what they're seeing right now. You see Wilson Lamb sitting. He's seeing that soft coverage now.
Sure.
Got a 3-man in the shell, laying off typically in high school. So they get, okay, we'll just work outside, get the ball to our athletes, Shepard, Sean Terry on the outside, let them do their magic.
Yeah, they're going to have to double team Shepard, the oldest Taylor Award finalist.
Yep.
I'm sure he has a clear-cut edge to win this, especially if he has a good state championship game tonight.
He's a good one, and he does it in many different ways.
Dead ball, false start, offense, replay second down.
So that moves it back. Upcoming is the 9th play of this drive that started at the Blue Springs 28 and winding some time off the clock with 1:30 left in the first quarter. Up under center is Lamb. And the give is to Warmack. Oh, nice tackle coming up and making that hit. That's going to be Austin Johnson, the cornerback.
Good job on the run support, Phil, in the alley on that one. Again, just a simple counter play. It looked like he had the crease in the middle. And again, look at it. Look, there's the kick-out block. There's the inside lane. But you talk about coming up and getting down and doing a good form tackle. We don't see much of that on Sunday anymore, do we, Mike?
No, normally you have cornerbacks making business decisions. But if you're going to play for Coach Coke, you have to come up as a cornerback and support the run.
Well, he closed the deal on that one. He got the contract.
Absolutely. 3rd down, 14. Now back at the 32-yard line. And a timeout call. That's going to be Blue Springs calling the timeout, and Kelly Donahoe takes that timeout here in his 13th season as the Blue Springs head coach.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, right now they're going to continue to go to those 3 wides. It looks like they're getting that defense to have to line up sideline to sideline. So now you get the numbers in the box advantage, Michael.
Yep.
It looks like they're going to continue running the counter play. This is Blue Springs' resume. That's what their basic play is. They're doing it well so far.
There is the resume. They're 12-1 on the season. The only loss was to Lee Summit West, and they had some injuries in that ball game. About 4 or 5 guys were out. Lee Summit West is an outstanding team.
But also, too, that we don't have up there, they defeated Rockhurst twice this year. Rockhurst had guys like Jordan Willis that's going to K-State, great defensive man, a lot of defensive stars, so really dominated. Last week, Darius Shepard, big on the punt return for a touchdown. So, again, special teams was used last week, 2 weeks ago against Rockhurst. Then they come in against the Smet, get the offense going. So, right now here, looks like they want to stick with that running game, control the tempo, Mike.
And that's the most I've seen probably Coach Donahoe get that upset, kind of emotionally fired up.
Believe me, on the inside, it's a raging inferno.
He's burning. 3rd down, 14. Lamb on the rollout. Has his receiver, Terry, inside the 15-yard line. He's got a Blue Springs 1st down.
It's very hard for a linebacker to flow with the action, especially when you see number 71, John Keltner, pulling. You're thinking on automatic run read, and then you slip that crosser right underneath and dash Terry in the open field. That's always a scary proposition.
Hey, I'll tell you what, that is a dash. That's a blink. That's an electron moving across the field with his speed.
Now, what did he say his 40 time was?
He said 4.39.
I can't spit out less than 4.4. So
all I know is anything below 5.5 was real fast for me.
Now let's round it to 4.4. Here's Warmack inside the 10 and down to the 6-yard line. Calvin Warmack.
Yeah, and right there, Neil, there's the cutback. We'll take a look at it again. And I just want to show you the shiftiness and hold. There's the zone blocking. Press the line of scrimmage. Now his head's up, shoulder pads are square to the line of scrimmage. Jump back through the A-gap. That's what makes him such a terror running the football.
And that's the end of the first quarter. But Blue Springs is rolling in the red zone right now. They are at the 6-yard line. 2nd down, upcoming. And they lead it 7-0 in the Class 6 state title game. This is the Show Me Bowl 2012 on Fox Sports Midwest.
We got DB timeout here. So you're going
Head coach Kelly Donahoe in that Blue Springs huddle. They have the football at the 6-yard line, 2nd down and 3. Talking about Dalvin Warmack, Michael, and you as a defensive player and a linebacker always looking to find that running back, go hit him. What's it like? Little short guy. I mean, he's 5'8", 5'9", trying to find him and then get to him.
Well, he's hiding behind a wall with the offensive lineman, number one, that probably average about 6'3", 6'4", and then you put on top of his shiftiness, and then before you know it, he's right up on you, so you really can't get a nice, solid shot on him to send a message.
And it's all amounted to 2,100 yards this season coming into this game for the junior Dalvin Warmack. 2nd down, 6 for the Wildcats. And Lamb moving right ahead. Touchdown, Blue Springs.
Talk about that surge again, ball from the offensive line.
Yep, Keltner on the right side. That's coming off the line of scrimmage. Royals in the middle. Talking about getting moved. Austin Ray's at the center. There's Keltner zone. Talking about purple wave right there coming off. And again, nice view by the quarterback. Now, all the quarterback's seeing right now is that linebackers are walked out. Yep. They're thinking that trips formation. Hey, I'll go ahead and the quarterback sneak. Touchdown.
That's an easy read for Wilson Lamb. I mean, you see everybody on the left side of the field and nobody in the middle. That's an easy check, especially behind that offensive line. I mean, the quarterback sneak probably went for about 5 yards for a touchdown.
That might be the longest quarterback sneak in the history.
Look again, this offensive line bunched up, fired out, and led their quarterback into the end zone.
Yeah, look at the pad level and finish with your guy in the end zone right now. The physicality winning by the purple men right now up front. The purple people eaters.
Man, a lot of defensive line for the Vikings kind of standing straight up. And I think right now they're in a little bit of amazement. I mean, down 14-0. This is probably their biggest deficit this season.
Well, I wanted to see how Donovan Walker was going to do at the nose tackle position for him against Reyes in the center. Also Keltner at the 1 guard, Royals at the other guard. How would he handle those inside 3? And right now, tough with those 3 big guys in front of you. Very strong. And the other thing about Blue Springs, Michael, is from the moment this game ends, next week they'll start their off-season weight program.
Sure.
I mean, they've got some incredible lifting going on over there, and in all the schools. But this is one thing that Kelly prides himself. You know, in a day, Michael, you could go out and just get some big guys to go play. That doesn't happen anymore in high school now. Everybody's power clean, 300 pounds, bench pressing, squatting, so it makes a difference.
Well, talking about that, I know Coach Koch, and you could probably tell us about him in the weight room, but he still holds some of the records there for weightlifting at Francis Howell, so you know they're doing the same thing.
Doing the same thing, and to me, Francis Howell, they resemble a Kansas City school, like to shorten possessions, likes to run the ball, but it's just not their night tonight going against a buzzsaw in the Wildcats.
Brian Land runs right into that buzzsaw at about the 20-yard line, and it'll be a 1st and 10 here for Francis Howell. Let's go down to Corey.
Hey, Neil, I know you guys are talking about the machine that is this Wildcat offense. They've averaged 45 points this season, but nothing was crazier than back on October 19th when they went to Lee's Summit and put up a final score of 84-62. Guys, in that contest, they and Lee's Summit combined for 51 points in the first quarter. That's almost never taking a breath before you get in the touchdown and get in the end zone.
Yeah, Corey, we didn't tell you. We played that game at the Sprint Center. It was an Arena League game. You didn't know that.
I thought it was the basketball season started already.
Dalvin Warmack ran for 415 yards in that game. Wow. What?
If I went that far in the treadmill, I'd have to stop.
Oh, he's young. He's in shape. He can do it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, fresh legs.
Now 4 penalties for 25 yards against Francis Howell.
Dead ball, false start, offense, still 1st down.
This is falling right in the hands of Kelly Donahoe. One of the keys in this game is we had to eliminate the run and put the pressure on the sophomore quarterback. Let's see if he can make some throws. And then Kelly thought with some of the blitzes, this is where he could be effective in defense.
Well, it's the senior quarterback in there now, Austin Gates, but he is on the run. Swarmed upon at the 5-yard line. Lee was there making some things happen. Also, Young was back there.
Pretty much the whole Blue Springs team was in the field.
Yeah,
Watch Jason Young. Again, I'm not sure of the protection. It looked like slide protection that time, but some miscommunication. The right guard, 54, Jonathan Mock, he just opens up a lane. You've got to be able to get some hands on Jason Young. He's on the 4x100 team.
I was just about to ask you, an explosive track runner, you have to know your personnel that's right in front of you. If you open the doors up, he's already right at the quarterback.
Second down, 25 for Francis Howell at their 5-yard line. Gates and another flag.
You're seeing right now a lot of angle charges out to what they're doing, kind of stemming at the right before the snap, getting on the shoulder in a gap, and then firing through as quick as they can. They feel like physically up front right now for them, they can handle it, and they're getting it done right now for Blue Springs.
And timeout called by Francis Howell.
I think Coach Kirk wants to settle his kids down. And nothing worse for a quarterback, especially a young quarterback, to where you see the defensive front sliding from one direction to another. So it's so unpredictable. You never know where they're going to come from.
Michael, one of the things I was always told in the National Football League, it's worse to overestimate your opponent than underestimate your opponent. And that's what I'm seeing right now here for Francis Howell. I think you talked about this. I think they come here into the dome, the lights, the action. Are they maybe worrying too much about Blue Springs and just not playing football?
Here's the Francis Howell resume. They're from the St. Charles area, St. Charles County. They're actually in Weldon Spring. It's where the school is. 12-1 on the season. They come off that win against Lafayette to make it in here to the title game. They have never won a state championship game, and they're trying to get that done here tonight for Coach Brian Koch in his 6th season, and he has brought an incredible energy to this program, hasn't he, Michael?
He sure has. He's turned everything around. It's his alma mater. He went to high school there, and as I mentioned before, this is the closest thing that we'll see to a Kansas City team because they believe in working out all year round.
Right now they're deep in their own territory at the 5-yard line, 2nd and long, and it's nearly intercepted.
And the reason why, again, Jason Young, it looked like they had a little stunt in the inside that time, and again got pressure on the quarterback. Again, it's not a sack, but if you're getting a hand in front of the quarterback, you're changing the launch point for the quarterback. Makes it difficult to make the throw down the field.
The safety back there, Dante Watkins, was the guy that had his hands on the football. He's a good one.
And the leader of the defense, on the field and off the field. Make sure guys do the right thing.
And Coach Donahoe ripped and raved about Dante Watkins.
He's also a good basketball player, Watkins is as well. 3rd down, 25 for the Vikings. Gates from his own end zone. And in and out of the hands of his intended receiver. He went up for it over there, Zach Perkins, but couldn't come down with it. Had a couple of guys over there for Blue Springs on the chase.
Yeah, Carlos Davis
made it over there too.
Yeah, Carlos Davis, defensive end that time, coming from the left side, just working up and again coming back underneath. Flushes the quarterback to your side. Now it's running for your life. Yeah, Michael, you know as a former defensive guy, when you see a ball come out, a moonshot like that, it's like, let's go get the pigskin.
Yeah, want to go ahead and close in and get an interception, but also, too, good coverage in the secondary. I mean, those defensive backs are sticking to those wide receivers like glue.
It was also intended for Brandon Swamp Protest. So Swampy had the shot at it over there. This is a short punt at the 35. I guess no fair catch called for by Shepard, but you know when you've returned 4 kicks for a touchdown this season, you have a lot of confidence back there.
Yeah, how impressive is this? Number 7, Nick Perkins, right defensive end, running down, taking down an explosive wide receiver in the open field.
Yeah, that's what I said. Darius Shepard, you're living dangerously. That's a 250-pound man getting ready to truck you over. So, yeah, my hat's off to Darius Shepard, but I would say, you know what? You might not live for a long time living like that.
Nick Perkins, just a junior, 6'3", defensive tackle / defensive end. Has a bright future ahead of him, fighting on a lot of double teams, keeping guys like Munson and Nebo free to make plays.
Warmack. Plenty of room on the left side, and he's got an 8-yard gain to the 28-yard line.
Every cut, it's like he gains a little bit of ground, that shiftiness, and he just keeps going forward with it. He's at top speed, but yet can make those little cuts. Michael's so hard to track somebody like that in terms of trying to break down and make the tackle, but yet he's got the acceleration to get from him.
What's impressive about Warmack, he actually follows his blockers. Normally when a kid's that fast, they kind of just want to run outside and try to outrun everybody. He runs where the ball's designed to go, and if he cuts the corner, he just cuts the corner.
Might that be another difference between him and Miller, as you guys were talking about before, the way he follows his blockers, Baldy?
Yep, there's the boot.
Lamb going upstairs, touchdown! Darius Shepard.
That's what the run game will do to you. Set you up with play action.
Exactly right. Wilson Lamb, nice job on the run fake, coming back out on the boot that time. Just finding Shepard across the back of the end zone. Nice job on the route running, and again, just finding a hole, not getting caught up in the traffic. Take a look at it in the pit. Watch Keltner pull. You're thinking it's going to be a trap, but again, here comes Wilson Lamb on the job, rolling out. Nice job, keeping his eyes downfield. Nice touch on the pass.
It is so refreshing to see a quarterback actually roll to the side to where it strings. He's a right-handed quarterback. You want to roll him right. Shoulders are square towards the line of scrimmage and just found the open wide receiver down the field.
Darius Shepard, his 9th touchdown catch of the season. This one for 28 yards. And that's the 17th touchdown pass for Lamb.
And again, you like where Lamb releases the football, holds it high above the ear. Now it's just a flick. You can put some velocity, air underneath the ball. And again, on the route that time, Darius Shepard, don't get caught up in traffic. Find the free space. Continue the run. Continue to work with your quarterback because he's got to continue to get outside the tackle to get the throwing lane. So again, there's that off-season workout, knowing where your receivers are going to be out on the field.
Yeah, when did these guys start really practicing this offense? Did they just start practicing in junior high, maybe elementary school?
Well, you know, the thing is, one of the biggest things in Blue Springs is the Pee Wee Super Bowl.
Sure.
Believe me, when these kids are in high school right now, after this over, they're on the bus ride back, they're talking grief to each other about who won the Pee Wee Super Bowl in Blue Springs. So, again, it's a big thing, but that's where it starts. Yep. You know, they learn about it, what it takes to play football, and then they learn about Kelly Donahoe. And, again, stronger, bigger every year. When they come in, it seems like they just reload every year.
Tell me a little bit about that. I guess, is it the 300-day workout? I mean, it's 365 days out of the year. And I believe 300 days, the Kansas City kids are still training for football, doing cleans and snatches and
everything, even the quarterbacks.
Connor Flynn trying to catch the far sideline, and then he is belted out of bounds by Young.
Tell you what, they're doing a nice job on coverage, staying in the lanes, creating separation and closing.
Farmers Insurance is a proud sponsor of the Missouri State High School Activities Association. Call 800-FARMERS or visit farmers.com to find a local agent. We are insurance. We are farmers. And Francis Howell has not had the greatest field position here in the first half. Their own 18 in the first possession, then the 19, then the 20, and now the 21. On the other hand, Blue Springs just had the ball at the Francis Howell 36.
Maybe a little screen
and took it right on in. Here's Harrell. Nice job of picking his way through the hole and out to the 29-yard line.
I thought Sloan had a play on this, but Harrell, fish and cut again. You talked about it, Michael. Good vision on his part.
Yeah, sticking his foot in the ground and getting north and south, not really dancing in the backfield much. Once he makes his decision to turn the shoulder pads north, nobody can really stop him in the stadium. This is a prime example right here, following Howell's blockers and being his own blocker at times.
1,500 yards on this season and 20 touchdowns on the ground for Harrell. And he's got a first down to the 33-yard line.
Jimmy Alloway, the left tackle right now. He's working against number 6 and 7, Carlos Davis, defense end. Nice job in terms of where he's coming off the ball, getting pointed in the right direction, getting movement at the point of attack. And Harrell, tell you what, he gets a little bit of lane. That's all he needs.
That's an easy hole for the running back to run through, especially when you got a nice kick-out block by the offensive line.
And Michael, we talked about Warmack being a smaller back. Harrell is 6'1", a tall back, 6'1", 215. A little different style.
Waggle.
On the rollout glass, being chased. And he throws it incomplete. The intended receiver, Richie Eisenhart.
And I think that's, again, here you see Sloan at the defensive end position, literally chasing down the quarterback in the open field. Again, up the field, he has to read. It's a waggle pass, gets across the guard's face, and again, almost coming with the tackle. Quarterback now takes a shot on the sidelines. You don't want to take many of those, do you, Michael?
No, you don't want to take too many of those shots because they start to add up, and that's when you start to hear those footsteps that may not be there. That's when you start to see the ball getting turned over on some of those deep throws.
Second down 10 from the 33-yard line of Francis Howell and the Vikings in the pistol formation. Dante Harrell.
Blocking Hobbs.
Out to the 39-yard line. That's a gain of 6.
Yeah, Jonathan Mock, the offensive guard that time, number 54. Nice job of getting out on Hobbs, the inside linebacker this time, sustaining the block, coming across. Again, right there, at in the proper place. Again, the middle linebacker can't get across. There's the running lane.
It's also a big block, too, by the right tackle, Aaron Callaway. That was some of that separation, create that seam for Harrell to run through.
Harrell again in the backfield to make the play. Elijah Lee.
Yeah, he can turn the corner, Elijah Lee. Great range. Transfer from St. Joseph. It's a little town north of Kansas City. Came in. The players absolutely love this guy just because of his work ethic. They said in the offseason, #1 in everything. Running, lifting, whatever it is, goes 100 miles an hour. And, you know, Michael, you got to just have some of those players at any level on your team.
And sure, Baldy, that's why the Vikings aren't having really a success running an angle blocking scheme, because he was supposed to be the end man on the line of scrimmage, but he recognized it was a run inside, and he made the play.
Another punting situation. Perkins gets it away. Shepard is deep. He'll let this one bounce. And it wanders down inside the 25-yard line to the 22. Blue Springs on top in the title game at the Dome in St. Louis here in Class 6. They lead it 21-0 on Fox Sports Midwest.
Agents, when it comes to insurance, people feel lost.
That's a dead end.
Don't know which way to turn.
Turn around.
That's why we present people with options to help them find coverage that fits their needs.
Almost there.
The new Mays record.
Really?
I have no idea. We don't keep track of that kind of stuff.
We are insurance.
We are Farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
To speak with a farmer's agent in your community, call 888-96-FARMERS.
Welcome back to the Dome in St. Louis. Blue Springs has the football. This is their worst field position to start a drive, which is better than the best field position that Francis Howell has had tonight. Here comes Warmack through the defense and out to the 34, where he is stopped by Perkins. And he's got a first down.
Well, Michael, in this defense, you know it's all about finding an angles. His defensive line moving one way, linebackers going the other way. If somebody doesn't get to the responsibility, you get a crease like that, first down run.
Yeah, that's the only thing I don't really like about a 3-3-5 stack defense. You got already two natural bubbles, meaning uncovered guards. They can zero in on the linebackers getting downhill. And if you don't get off those blocks, you're going to see gas runs just like that.
1st and 10 Wildcats. Warmack. Huge hole, and he's got a first down. Was trying to reverse his field, or he's at least right at the marker. He was tackled there by Land.
Watch Rays and watch Keltner, the right guard. Watch them come off and how they handle the nose. There's the push. Now back on the linebacker, and they're still on the front side. Nice job. So, again, you top that backside linebacker for shooting through the A-gap. Warmack's through almost for the first down.
They're going to measure. He was right on the marker. He's trying to reverse his field and make a move back into the field of play.
Also Broyles on the front side. The inside three for Blue Springs, very efficient in terms of their footwork on that zone. Got to make sure you're all on the same level.
And talking about the centerpiece for Walker being the nose guard, I mean, he has to be the most important part of an odd front, meaning there's 3 down linemen. And if he doesn't split the double teams or at least absorb one, it's hard for Munson and Nebo and those guys to make plays as linebackers.
Because now your angles of pursuit change.
Yeah.
The bottom line, fellas, those holes are huge, right? I mean, that was a giant hole on the left side. And Blue Springs with the balanced attack, 94 yards rushing and 87 passing. And this was just short on the measurement. So upcoming 2nd down and 1 from the 44-yard line of Blue Springs.
Michael, you talk about nose tackles. I remember as a rookie in the National Football League with New York Giants, I go out against the Jets. They have Joe Klecko at the nose tackle position.
Yeah.
I go to step and block him. All I remember is just hitting my butt quicker than I ever had in my life.
It makes everything a lot easier for the linebackers to flow laterally, sideline to sideline, and make plays at the point of attack on the line of scrimmage or even behind the line of scrimmage.
2nd down 1. They give it back to Terry, Deshaun Terry. And he's out to midfield with a stiff arm on land and falls down at the 48-yard line of Francis Howell.
And this play looks like it's stopped in the backfield, but this is what athleticism gives you. A little zone read. Now you come around, and again, you got guards out in front of you. And here's Terry dancing around. And his brother's at Pitt State, Keaston Terry.
Wow.
And everything, same way. Tremendous athlete. I don't know about things like that, but I know as I'm a coach, I'm going to give it to those athletes all the time.
Yeah, and he's, I guess, a shutdown corner by trade. He just comes in on offense, quote-unquote, by Coach Donahoe just to help out every now and again.
Here's Warmack on the spin move. He's got 2 yards on 1st down. That'll bring up 2nd down, and there's Mr. Munson.
He's one of those guys, if you can get him going, I've seen him single-handedly make every single tackle for his team, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. He's just an aggressive ball-hawking defender who knows how to close and finish tackles once he gets to him.
Well, and his coach, Coach Cope, he said nobody plays harder than this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, down after down. His brother played here as well, Case, and they're both good baseball players. In fact, Case plays baseball at the University of Missouri. Lamb coming near side, looking for Shepard, and it draws a flag.
A few flags.
Yep.
They have a plethora of flags. They're still flying right now. Again, that play action, got a little double move on the outside. Lob it up, let your athletes run underneath.
But I'm okay with that if I'm Brian Land, the cornerback.
Yep.
Defensive coordinator, you want to see those cornerbacks get up in those wide receivers' faces.
Got to challenge them. You can't let them free release when they're that much speed.
Yeah, he just kind of bumped them off, and we couldn't get the camera angle on it. But you want to see those cornerbacks get in the face of the wide receivers and take them off their route, just kind of knock them off course some.
Yeah, again, you talk about a guy like Darius Shepard, such good release. But again, when you have wide receivers with such acceleration like that, I always say you can't play soft coverage. You've got to slow them up, or else they're going to create separation, and you're done anyway.
And, Barty, what do you mean by soft coverage? You mean just kind of like
lay them back and giving that 2 or 3 yard cushion.
Got to get aggressive. Mix up your looks because those guys are fast enough to where they know you're going to press them. It's going to come with the call.
Well, I remember for the Chiefs, Kevin Ross.
Defensive pass interference, automatic 1st down.
He always said, I'm a better boxer than I am a basketball player, so I'm going to get up and hit you.
Especially, when you don't have that 5-yard halo in high school, so take free grass.
That all makes sense to me now, Baldy, on Kevin Ross, watching him play all the years. That's the 5th penalty on Francis Howell. Warmack with another big hole, and he's got about 5 or 6 on 1st down.
Scoop block on the backside, Broyles on the front side in terms of blitzing linebacker Nebo. Watch the left guard here. Just get out. Again, hat on hat. Continue to move your feet. Makes it easy to run the football then, Michael.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Calvin Munson, that was a nice tackle by him fighting off a blocker, but he's used to playing a little bit cleaner than this. But right there, we just had an offensive guard flash right in his face. And that's a real tough thing to do, especially when you have a shifty back in the backfield in Warmack.
Warmack again. Oh, the ball's on the deck. I think Blue Springs looks like they got to it first.
Looks like Francis Howell. You see the call on the field. No, they got it. Ooh.
And diving in there on that one.
Is that Calvin Munson getting in on the strip?
Sure it is. Talking about linebacker play. A little bit cleaner this time.
Yep,
from a defensive perspective. Putting the shoulder pad on the ball flies out, but yet again.
Well, they actually had was Nick Perkins at that left defensive end. If you look at the play, he was the one who got penetration.
Yep.
Stopped the pulling guard Broyles from getting around, so now Munson can get in on the play. Take a look at it again. You see Broyles trying to get around, and there's Nick Perkins coming down on that slant move. Now Munson's able to get in on the tackle. Great form tackle on his part. You like to see it. We just don't see it on Sundays anymore, do you?
No, you don't see it, guys. Like I said, making business decisions, don't want to stick their face in there like they used to back in your generation, Bob.
With the leather helmets?
3rd down 4. Lamb on the rollout. Has his receiver. This is Bissell. And he is tackled by Lamb, but not before he's picked up a 1st down.
man. This is the play action right here.
Yeah. But again, I just want to show the line pull. You see how the linebackers flow, Michael? Exactly what you talked about. Now you're a step behind, so the quarterback comes back out. Difficult to cover that receiver in the flat.
Yeah, it's real easy for the offense to continue to make plays because as a linebacker, my job is to stop the run first. If I see my key, who I'm keying on, to where the ball is going to be, I have to flow right, and they counter back with the play action pass on the boot. It's a tough play to defend.
And Blue Springs now 4 for 4 on third down after picking that one up. 1st and 10 at the 17-yard line of Francis Howell. Warmack.
What a stick.
And Munson bringing him down at the 15-yard line after a gain of 2.
How about Carson Letchworth at the H-back? You could hear that contact. A little Oklahoma drill partner. A little rattling some bones. Take a listen to this. Right in the backfield again. One-on-one. As I told you, Coach Donahoe, he's like now, he's seeing with the spread look. Linebackers walk out. I'm going to pound inside. Got those 2 natural bubble looks.
Does.
Let's go ahead with zone blocking. Get our big man on big man and make it happen.
2nd down, 8 at the 15. And Lamb keeping this one, and they swarm on him. A loss on the play.
I think that was Nebo initially on the blitz that time. Destroyed the timing of the play.
Got their faces in there, especially number 51, Franklin, getting in on the tackle at the very last second. You know, he's going to Buffalo. He's going to a little bit of action next year.
Yeah, Jared Franklin, 6'3", 215, the senior. Coach Cope called him a freakish athlete, one of the best ever at Francis Howell, and he knows about that since he went there.
Yeah, I know, especially when you got Munson, too, at the bottom of that pile. Got to talk about his 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
There's Lamb up over the top, got his receiver. That's Terry reaching for the goal line. He didn't make it, went out of bounds at about the 2 or 3 yard line.
You know, Wilson Lamb again on the move outside the pocket. You love his throwing mechanics on the move. A lot of times you don't see this in the high school level, but this is the difference. Again, keep your eyes downfield, freeze the defense. Now inside, just lay it out. And again, those crossing patterns, Michael, tough to see where everybody's coming from right now. But again, I like the relationship of quarterback and wide receiver keeping that eye contact.
Yeah, especially in man-to-man coverage, too, to where you got just free crossers running or crossing those short intermediate routes. And that time you saw Wilson Lamb get pressure in his face from the nose guard. Donovan Walker was able to slide away and make a play.
11th play of this drive that started at the 22 into the end zone coverage by Land. They went for Shepard on that play.
Tried that backside shoulder throw. He saw the corner over the top, and you saw that ball come out like a laser by that time. But Shepard couldn't quite get his head around for that football. Take a look at it, Michael.
Yeah, that's a tough. Look at the bottom of your screen. Land did the excellent job of not turning around looking for that ball, and that's a tough play for any cornerback on an island to defend. It's one of those indefensible throws, that back shoulder fade.
Yep.
That's the first miss on a pass by Lamb tonight. He's now 8 for 9 for 110. Warmack tried to make a move but slipped. That's because Munson was right in his grill.
Quick penetration in the backfield, forcing Warmack to make a decision. He tried to juke him at the last second. You just see him get underneath the block of number 82, Letchworth.
Yeah, good flexibility that time getting down, keeping your head up and finding a way, an angle. Looked like Derek Johnson that time kind of shooting through the gap and making a play.
13th play of this drive now for Blue Springs upcoming. 2 minutes to play in the first half. 3rd down at the 5-yard line. 3rd and goal. Lamb throwing it up for grabs in the end zone. Contact. There's the flag.
Got their feet tied up. Looked like Austin Johnson on the outside, the cornerback.
It was Letchworth and Johnson that were jousting in the back of the end zone.
Pretty good ball placement by the quarterback Lamb, though. Aiming for that back corner of the end zone. You never know what may happen. Pass interference in this case.
Still make the ball catchable, but throw it to the backside shoulder. So if there is an interference, your receiver can make the catch. If not, there's no interception that takes place. And I'm going to tell you what, Francis Howell's offense at halftime's got to run gases. They've been on the sidelines the whole time here in the first half. I mean, they shouldn't be tired at all, right?
No, they should be a lot fresher than the defense coming down the second half.
Defensive pass interference. Half the distance, automatic first down.
Well, I think you can hear that the Francis Howell folks that have made the way. The close drive here from the St. Charles area. They didn't like that call too much.
Yeah, normally you don't see Francis Howell making these type of mistakes, but
quarterback sneak again.
It's a well-oiled machine.
Oh, nice job again by Jarrett Franklin.
And they weren't going to have it the second time. They gave up the record for a 5-yard quarterback sneak the last time. Here they closed quickly. Mudson's also inside there. Did a nice job that time on the center raised.
Yeah.
You didn't really get the push they did the first time. A little bit higher with their pads. Again, on that quarterback sneak, you got to get down and switch again, almost in a crab, get underneath those defensive linemen and also those linebackers that are coming like a freight train.
We talked about him being a freakish athlete, Franklin. He's the state champion wrestler. Showed you that right there. And once again, they stopped Lamb. He tried to sneak it.
Massive humanity at the goal line.
Baldy, number 52, Donovan Walker, the nose guard, the centerpiece for this defense. He's been doing a lot better job.
Getting down that time, much better. Again, you've got to just create a pile. I mean, it's not fun. It's playing in traffic right now.
Yeoman's work.
You're going to get hit every time. No sackle. That's the one thing you're guaranteed. You're going to at least get hit from one side, probably both sides.
Well, this defense standing tough here. Timeout called by Blue Springs. Kelly Donahoe wants to visit with his team about this, but they're having to do this. They held him, and then the interference call, and now they got to do it again for another set of downs. That's tough on the defense, Mike.
That's all right. The main goal for the defense, you just want to keep the offense out of the end zone and force them to kick a field goal. You can always rebound from 3 points as opposed to 6 or 7 points.
Stop by the Bommarito Ford Superstore at 270 and Lindbergh and get a chance to see all the new Ford Fusions and talk to Tom Bommarito about his recent trip to Richard Petty's home and garage. Well, that sounds fun.
John Bommarito, man, big shout out to him for putting on the high school Fox Sports Prep Zone all season long, giving a chance for myself and Harry Schrader and the rest of the crew to go around and visit different venues and meet guys like Terry Black doing stats out of Francis Howell and having a good time.
It has been good, and we thank Bommarito's Automotive Group for their sponsorship of high school sports and also Farmers Insurance here at the Show Me Bowl.
I think John Bommarito matches Baldy's passion for high school sports.
Okay.
He matches it toe for toe.
Now, right now, the Francis Howell defense trying to match up with Blue Springs here at the goal line. Lamb again on the sneak. Touchdown, Blue Springs, with an incredible surge by that line.
Good job that time of keeping your feet going. One thing you have to know on the goal line, Michael, is an offensive lineman. You played there too. You got to keep those feet going. Now watch this. Watch Keltner there. Watch Rays. Now you continue your feet. You can't stop your feet ever. So maybe your pads aren't always at maybe a proper place. You keep feet going. Hard to get off and make a play.
Yeah, and Francis Howell had pretty decent penetration too there, but that continuing surge, keeping those pistons pumping and getting a touchdown.
And it's Howell on to try the extra point. 28-0 with 30 seconds left here in the first half. The Wildcats have been dominant here in the Class 6 title game.
Nothing wrong with a little bit of extra added motivation by the coach on the sideline, getting these guys together in that timeout, saying that we have to walk away with 7 points.
Yeah, Walker, they're a better job than the nose tackle position is. We talk about nose tackle. There was a guy who played for many years with me in Kansas City, Bill Moss, and Billy, at the drop of a hat, would get in a fight. And I said, Billy, why are you like this? Well, he goes, well, imagine this. 70 plays a game, I get punched in the mouth and punched in the knees on every play. How happy would you be at the end of the game?
Wilson Lamb with his second touchdown on the ground, but he's also been excellent throwing the football here tonight. Remember, his only missed pass was that little one he tried to shepherd in the end zone on that last drive. But he now has 2 touchdowns on the ground, and on the season for Lamb, rushing the football, that's now touchdown number 8. He's thrown 16, now 17 touchdown passes.
And Michael, you talk about having coverage. No matter how hard they tell you man coverage to stay with your guy, you know when a quarterback has mobility like Lamb, you are once you see him move, you tend to start cheating towards that quarterback.
Yeah, it's hard for a defender to really judge where the line of scrimmage is when you see a quarterback scrambling around, and once he takes a step towards you, then before you know it, you see the ball flying over your heads for 6.
This is Flynn inside his 10. And man, they have been solid on special teams. Bissell makes the stop this time at the 19. Let's go down to Corey.
Thanks, Neil. I know you and Michael have been talking about this Francis Howell defense and how much time they've been spending on the field tonight. Well, after that Blue Springs touchdown, they have now given up the most points they have all season. 21 points was the most they'd given up coming into tonight. That occurred back on October 26th against Francis Howell Central. This is a defense that has been tough for this team all season long. Tonight, they've run into a machine in Blue Springs.
Yeah, great point, Corey. It's Blue Springs just dominating time of possession, and here's Harrell with a nice run on first down. He's out of bounds at the 39-yard line on a gain of 19.
Yeah, Michael, you can talk about it from the defensive side. Again, when your offense can't get anything going, now defensively, when you continue to have to go out in the field, offensively, they gain confidence, but also now they can just start doing all their different plays. And again, they got the defense guessing. And if you don't guess right, they continue to move the chains. And that's what Blue Springs has done offensively to ensure passing and running the football.
Yeah, it's one thing for a defensive guy when you just can't stop the run or the pass, you just leave you reeling.
Only 18 seconds left in the first half. Glass has his receiver, far sideline. That's Swampy.
They have a late hit. Looks like a personal foul. Trayvon Warmack, I think 94 in the late hit, quarterback. Look at the trenches here, Michael. See, it'll be Trayvon, I think 94. And they're going to call it, right?
Yep. Especially right around the headgear, too.
Yep. You take a step.
You're right in the center of your screen. Big 94 coming through and just getting that hit at the last second.
Yep. They're going to protect the quarterbacks at any level now. They tell you, you take an extra step to hit the quarterback, and then eventually, as you say, going above the shoulders, the flag's going to come out every time.
Yeah, I remember back in the day, you used to have that maybe 1 to 2 second halo to hit a quarterback once he released the ball, but now.
Yeah, anymore. Well, you know, with the head trauma and everything that's going on, you got to protect these guys, and when they're in the throwing motion, they're finding out that, you know, what it does, you can't protect yourself. So maybe it's not a big hit, but they're going to make it simple and call it every time.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. 15 yards and the run.
So that tacks on 15 after the completed pass to Swamper Test. And Francis Howell now with 15 seconds left in the first half has a chance to put some points on the scoreboard.
I know Francis Howell, they're really not a passing team by trade, but you at least want to spread the defense out just enough. Maybe get some high percentage passes. Look at Glass getting to a quarterback, a rhythm. Once he sees the ball completed, and then you want to hit him back with Harrell's on.
Here comes the blitz inside.
Glass goes up top, and that's a flag.
Is that Watkins on the outside?
President.
And they were looking downfield trying to hit Swampy.
Nice job on the blitz pickup that time. The linebackers through the A-gap. Take a look at it in the middle, allowing your quarterback to step up and keep his vision down the field. Give him the sight line. There it is. Takes almost another late hit.
Yeah.
And there's the interference. They're calling it close in the game.
Yeah, plus it looks like a...
No, I think is it coming back? Is it off? Oh, no, it is. It's defensive interference. It's going to be 10 yards from the spot, right? I mean, from where?
Yeah.
Line of scrimmage.
Well, that looked like an uncatchable ball, too, if you want to go back and check out that replay. But I think at this point, the Vikings will take anything they can get just to get closer and closer to the goal line.
It's a 15-yard penalty.
Defensive pass interference, automatic first down.
9 seconds left, 1st and 10. And the ball at the 7 to 18-yard line. Glass looking near side. And it's incomplete.
And that's Jason Young and also Elijah Lee. Quarterback time kind of just stepped to his left.
And also Edward Morris, the linebacker at the bottom of your screen. He's matched up using Sammy sideline as a 12th defender, actually walling off the wide receiver, forcing Glass to make the perfect throw.
Lean on those receivers.
Sure.
The coverage, lean on them. It's just like basketball. Just lean on them. Don't take away their turf on the outside.
Only 4 seconds left. And on for a field goal. This is Perkins. He's a good one. This one will be from 35.
Got it.
And it's right through there. Zach Perkins, his 9th field goal of the season. He hit a 50-yarder last week in the ball game against Lafayette. That's a school record. And what might this do for their confidence level, Michael, as they head to the locker room?
Well, hopefully it does a lot. I mean, this is a really good football team. The Francis Howell Vikings, they're just running into a tough, complete overall team at Blue Springs. So
well, what I liked on that drive, good job on the blitz pickup. You showed that you can handle the terms of the blitz and the pass rush. Got to do it in the second half.
Let's go down to Corey.
Hey, thanks, guys. I'm down here with Wildcat coach Kelly Donahoe. Coach, big step for the defense there to hold them at the very end.
Yeah, I mean, give Cal credit. That's great fighting them to go down there and get some points for a half. That gives them a little bit of life, so that's what we need to go talk about is now they've got some life, and we need to, just go back to what we've been doing. And I think if we can get another touchdown on the board, we're going to put these guys away.
Tell us a little bit about the offense in the first half. You guys are just moving the ball all over the field.
Yeah, we're doing a nice job up front, and that all starts there. We got great kids up front. Dalvin's running well. Wilson's making really good decisions in the passing game. We just got some good kids that paved the way for Dalvin, and if we can keep from turning the ball over, we're pretty good on offense.
All right. Tell me just one other thing then. The defense has done so well here in the first half. What have you really been focusing on in stopping this Francis Howell offense so far?
Well, they've done a great job of stopping 11, and that was a big thing coming in. He's a good back. And then not giving up a big play in the passing game, and our secondary has done an excellent job there. So everything's, fortunately for us, has gone really well this half. It's just one of those halves. Things have gone good for us, and we just got to just keep it going here in the third quarter.
All right, Coach, thanks. Best of luck in the second half. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Corey and Coach Donahoe. And right now, the Blue Springs Wildcats are on top 28-3 here at halftime in the Class 6 title game. You're watching the Show Me Bowl 2012 on Fox Sports Midwest.
Agents, when it comes to insurance, people feel lost.
That's a dead end.
Don't know which way to turn.
Turn around.
That's why we present people with options to help them find coverage that fits their needs.
Almost there.
It's a new Maze record.
Really?
I have no idea. We don't keep track of that kind of stuff.
We are insurance.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
To speak with a farmer's agent in your community, call 888-96-FARMERS.
Boo! Hey, where are you going? Can't get by me. I'm number 1 in this class. I rule this lab. I'm number 1. Hey, I don't think so. Yes! Winner! I am the king! Woo!
You wouldn't do it there. So don't do it here. Sportsmanship. It's up to you.
What?
Jerk.
Welcome back to the Class 6 title game. Last game here of the weekend, Show Me Bowl 2012 at the Dome in St. Louis. And right now, Blue Springs on top, 28-3 over Francis Howell in St. Louis. Well, the game just before this one in Class 2, Lamar is the new state champion in Class 2. I guess they defended their state title. And it was a high-scoring game, 69-41. Lamar wins it, and Jim Powers was with the winning coach from Lamar.
Have a chance to talk to the coach of the back-to-back state champions, Lamar and Coach Bailey. What are your first emotions, back-to-back state championships, your first two, not only just one last year, but back-to-back with this year?
I'll be honest with you. It's kind of relief. It really is. It's kind of a relief to know that the expectations that come from the outside in, plus the expectations that we have as coaches and our players, their expectations are so high on themselves that we met them. So it's actually kind of a relief of we did it. You know, we met the expectations that we put on ourselves and our players put on themselves, and obviously what, you know, the outside people put on us.
You talked a little bit this week when we had a chance to chat that this is a team. This is a group of kids, young, old, do things together, hang out together, and it's those kind of teams that get you to where you're at right now, back-to-back state champs.
Well, I will tell you, the first half wasn't that way. I feel like I have to be honest with you guys. We were splintering a little bit in that first half, and it started with me. I was extremely excited to be back in the Dome, and I was anxious to, and we get off to such a fast start with our offense and get a lead, and I'm wanting to just get the ball back and get things going, and we can't contain their pass game, and it started with me. It started with me calling some kids out and challenging some kids, probably in a way that was not very good. And then in the second quarter, you saw it just start to go downhill, and like I said, it all started with me. So at halftime, we had to build that back, and it started with me getting a hold of a couple players and getting them up in front of our team and explaining to them that I had not coached them very well, and that the things that I had done were not in line with what we call a brotherhood. And from there, we probably had some 12 to 15 kids stand up and say the exact same thing, that they had pointed some fingers at their teammates or they hadn't made a play that they thought they should have made. And at halftime, I think we saw that brotherhood, that caring for each other, come back out in us. And you got to understand, it's been a long time since we've ever been in a close ball game and had some adversity. It's been a long time, and that first half felt a lot like the Seneca game in week 2, where we were able to do some things, but we couldn't score. And that was a long time ago. That was a long time ago for these kids. That's 3 months ago. So at halftime, there wasn't any yelling, there wasn't any screaming, there wasn't a whole lot of X's. There was very little X's and O's. We changed a couple things on some alignments on defense, but the biggest thing was guys owning up to the divisive stuff they had done in the first half, and it started with me. And in the second half, there wasn't any of that. We got behind. There was none of that on the sideline. There was guys talking to each other about what they were going to do on the next series to do it, to be successful. And if we hadn't had that halftime where we could have come together as a brotherhood, where we could have had kids kind of bare their souls a little bit, and me do the same thing, it might have been a different outcome in this game, but we had a chance to get back to where we were caring about each other and playing for each other.
Well, absolutely. Well, Coach, enjoy it right now, and it was great following you guys this year and seeing you play today at the Dome, and who knows, maybe we'll see you again next year.
All right, I hope so. I tell our guys, I told them before the game, Webb's in the locker room next to us, so I'm standing there talking to Coach Roderick and Coach Smith, and they just look at me and say, man, you guys have been here, 2 dozen times or something? He says, I never get tired of this. I told our guys, I said, it takes a lot for us to get over here. It takes a lot for us, overnight stay and everything that goes into playing this game on the game day. I'll never get tired of this. I'll do this every year if you guys will let me.
No doubt about it, Coach. Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
Coach Scott Bailey.
All right, thanks, Jim and Coach Bailey. Lamar wins it 69-41 today in Class 2. They are the state champions back-to-back. And Blue Springs on top at halftime in the Class 6 game. They lead it 28-3 on Fox Sports Midwest.
Hey, great party.
Oh, thanks. Here you go. 1 hamburger, medium well.
This is well done.
No. That's medium well.
What? Are you calling me a liar? This thing is practically burned.
That's it. You're not going to come to my house and tell me how to cook a hamburger.
You wouldn't do it there.
That'd be crazy.
So don't do it here. Sportsmanship. It's up to you.
Agents, when it comes to insurance, people feel lost.
That's a dead end.
Don't know which way to turn.
Turn around?
That's why we present people with options to help them find coverage that fits their needs.
Almost there?
It's a new Maze record.
Really?
I have no idea. We don't keep track of that kind of stuff.
We are insurance.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
To speak with a farmer's agent in your community, call 888-96-FARMERS.
Show Me Bowl 2012 is brought to you by Farmers Insurance and by the Bommarito Automotive Group. And welcome back to Show Me Bowl 2012, Edward Jones Dome here in St. Louis. Class 6 game, the title game. Blue Springs on top 28-3 here at halftime. Well, we've watched a lot of football the last couple of days,
Some
guys.
great football.
And we look at this, we'll go right through it and start with the 8-man, 56-38. The funny thing about this game, Baldy, as we were watching it, that was the scoring in the first half. There was no scoring in the second half, Michael. I don't know if you were
and
around
they
for that.
started this at about 9:30 in the morning, and there's too much running 8-man football for me, Mike.
Oh, my
I got to
goodness.
take a sidestep on that one.
Well, I guess the defense showed up in the second half.
They did.
And then Penny wins the Class 1 game 60-34.
Yeah, again, we just saw a running attack, and we saw what Penny could do. And my hat's off to them because down by 14, Michael, in the first quarter, they never lost their direction and focus, came back and really run a big football game.
Yeah, sure.
Michael, you had this game just a little while ago. Lamar beats Blair Oaks. They go back-to-back on their state titles.
Back-to-back state championships, and having over 600 yards and 500 that was rushing, and it was a back-and-forth game. Blair Oaks really stepped out of character, but Lamar, one of those mini machines.
And Baldy, seems like a million years ago, the first game we did, but it was yesterday morning. Maryville, the Spoof Hounds, in the battle of number 1 versus number 2. They win the ball game 35-22. Some great running backs in that ball game. Talk about Zeke Elliott for
Going to Ohio State.
Man, he's outstanding.
And you can see why, doing it on special teams.
Brody McMahon, the sophomore from Maryville.
They said 4.6 40. He looked really fast to me. As I said, anything below 5.5 is quick for me. But Derek Steens on that, I'll tell you what, nice job against John Burroughs. But again, you got to look at John Burroughs 3 times coming to the Dome.
Yeah.
Got the Buffalo disease, maybe the Buffalo Bills, but hey, they got here, and that's what matters.
And then Webb City started off our day today. They beat Helias, and they did it in that Webb City fashion, running that veer option, but they've mixed in a little bit of the pass this year. Roderick's an excellent quarterback.
Roderick, maybe Missouri Western. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble now, man. Penn State is my Penn State Gorillas, but I'll tell you what a quarterback. Really improved his game, Michael, throwing on the run. And again, an option quarterback, also a throwing quarterback. Usually don't see that.
Yeah, I did their game last week in the semifinals versus St. Mary's, and you're talking about another one of those dynamic teams who can hit you in multiple directions with different players.
And Michael, last night, Kirkwood wins it 31-7 over Fort Osage. And it was probably like they partied when Hazelwood East won the state title back in the day. I mean, Baldy and I could hardly get back to the hotel.
The Super Bowl party going on.
They were having a blast after that win. Kirkwood won last night. A great season, though, for Fort Osage. And Kirkwood wins it in Class 5. And there's our halftime score, 28-3. Blue Springs on top of Francis Howell. A lot of records have been broken by teams in Show Me Bowl 2012, and I got to take a couple of seconds to absorb all this. My goodness.
It's all good. It looks like a blur to me right now. So we've had some tremendous play on both sides of the football. And, Michael, I just wanted to get your opinion on Jordan Bishop, the quarterback for Kirkwood. Talk about his play.
I remember you mentioning last night he worked really hard in the offseason on the storm motion, and you can tell if that offense was going to have any type of flexibility, we already knew they could run the ball with the plethora of running backs, but that offense was going to lean on his arm this season. He led them a couple of times on some comeback victories, and it paid off last night. And let's not forget, they have $1 million weight room, and that 114-year tradition in Kirkwood getting their first state championship. Wow. Congratulations to Matt Urban.
And they win it last night. Our Class 6 game, 28-3. Blue Springs on top. We'll take a break and come back right after this. Welcome back to St. Louis. We're here in the Dome, Edward Jones Dome, and it's Blue Springs on top in the Class 6 game, 28-3. And we're going to take a look at a guy that's run for over 2,100 yards this season. I'll tell you what, he's done a lot on his own, but he's had some great blocking in the first half, Baldy.
He has, and again, he's such a complimentary runner. He can do the zone block between the tackles. He can take the toss. He can run the counter. This is a guy, run the stretch play. He can find a crease, and that ability to change directions, Michael, makes him such an efficient runner.
And that's what makes him so great, because he follows behind his blockers and just go where the ball is designed to go. And if he needs to make a play, he'll make a play.
Yeah, and press that line of scrimmage. Wait to get to the line of scrimmage before you make the cut. Very good vision on his part.
And Warmack had 80 yards on 16 carries in the first half. We take another break on Fox Sports Midwest.
Thank you. Can I help you today?
No thanks. I'm just looking. Oh, this is cute. So?
Too tight-headed! Yuck!
You wouldn't do it there. So don't do it here. Sportsmanship. It's up to you.
Like they're the fashion police.
Agents, when it comes to insurance, people feel lost.
That's a dead end.
Don't know which way to turn.
Turn around.
That's why we present people with options to help them find coverage that fits their needs.
Almost there.
The new Mays record.
Really?
I have no idea. We don't keep track of that kind of stuff.
We are insurance.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
To speak with a farmer's agent in your community, call 888-96-FARMERS.
Blue Springs on top in Class 6 here in the Show Me Bowl, 28-3 at halftime. And we take a look at the Bommarito halftime summary, the first half stats. One thing I noticed, guys, the time of possession. You were talking about that Francis Howell defense being on the field a lot in the first half, Michael.
Yeah, it's hard for a defense to be effective, and especially for your team. The offense can't get on the field, so they can't score. So Francis Howell, they need to blow up on the defensive end and get the ball back to the offense.
Well, you look at third down conversions, and again, when you're 1 of 5, it means you're not extending the change. You're not getting into a rhythm. You're not getting the comfort. You're not getting a feel for what the defense can do. Now you go to the sidelines, always starting over. That's why right now you're down in the score.
The Bommarito first half stats, and we'll take another break here at halftime. The Class 6, 28-3 in St. Louis.
Agents, when it comes to insurance, people feel lost.
That's a dead end.
Don't know which way to turn.
Turn around.
That's why we present people with options to help them find coverage that fits their needs.
Almost there.
The new Mays record.
Really?
I have no idea. We don't keep track of that kind of stuff.
We are insurance.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
To speak with a farmer's agent in your community, call 888-96-FARMERS.
Welcome back to the Class 6 championship game. There is Blue Springs head coach Kelly Donahoe. His team on top 28-3. Let's go down to Corey.
Thanks, Neil. I talked to head coach Brian Koch from Francis Howell and asked him what happened to the Vikings in the first half. He simply said, that wasn't us. the lights, the sound, the fans, it was maybe too much. In the second half, they're going to play Viking football. Get back to what got them here. They've been down before. They're ready to play a different game here in the second half.
Thanks, Corey. And after you hear that, Michael, what are your thoughts from Coach Koch there?
Well, I have to echo those sentiments. I mean, coming out, the school's first ever trip to the state championship. So they came close last year. They lost to Blue Springs South. They got back to the Dome this year. And I just think that pure adrenaline just kind of took them out their game a little bit. And we'll see what type of adjustments that they made. And we'll see if the defense can get the stop, because Blue Springs has the ball first.
Well, that's the one thing you learn about athletics. As I said, if you overestimate your opponent, guess what? You don't do anything. You stand there and look at him. Well, you know what? You got to go play the football game. So you've looked ugly now.
Yep.
You can't embarrass. The dog doesn't like you at home. Mom's not going to give you any sandwiches when you get home. So you better go play football.
That's what got you going, right?
That was it. It was simple as that. So, again, at any level, and Michael, you were right. You talked about that. Come to the Dome for the first time. Impressionable at this age. Heck, you're impressionable at any age.
Yep.
You know, playing some of those big games in the NFL, I had Monday night games. You walk out there and you got them glassy-looking eyes.
And, you know, the funny thing, too, about that statement, I mean, this is the only game in town, only high school game in town.
Yep.
So everybody's watching at home. Everybody's going to be looking at this at the Dome. So you want to go ahead and put your best foot forward, at least in the second half. If you don't win the game, that's one thing, but you at least want to come out and show some of that Viking pride.
You know, that's a good point. In a way, that's kind of a mini version of Monday Night Football. Everybody home watching, right?
That's right.
Got to go to school on Monday, everybody looking at you.
Francis Howell will kick off. And this guy Perkins has put 54 kicks in the end zone this season. Make it 55. Have mercy. That one went all the way to the back of the end zone.
Can't score on special teams if you can't field the kickoff.
I'll tell you what, you can boot the ball like that. Pretty much your future paved in gold.
That is a huge weapon. Well, the average drive starts in the first half definitely in favor of the Blue Springs Wildcats. This time they'll put him back to the 20, and there it is. And Blue Springs has been cashing those starts in. They lead it 28-3.
Yeah, but only 6 plays over 10 yards, so you should know they're doing the pounding ground, physically wearing out the defense. Let's see if that changes here in the first drive for Francis Howell.
Lamb was outstanding in the first half. 8 of 9 completions, now 9 of 10 as he completes this one out to the near sideline and to the 20 and across the 20 on that catch, Austin Ferguson.
Nebo, the linebacker that time on the outside, really kind of stretched that play, kind of slowed it up. Maybe his name doesn't get the statter in the tackle, but initially he's there, kind of destroys the timing of the play.
Yeah, one of those unconventional plays for Blue Springs. I expected them to come out, spread the field, and start pounding the ball again.
Again, I don't know why you go ahead with this. So, again, maybe they think they can get on the edges with some of the throws.
Here goes Warmack up the sideline, dancing his way to the 45.
Wow.
Michael, help me. Help me on this one, Michael. Pick me up off the ground on this one, bud. This play is stopped.
Yeah, good blocking up front again by the offensive lineman. And you talked about that change of direction of that short jump cut.
Calvin Munson had him in the gun sights that time, but he escaped pretty quick.
Goodness.
That was a gain of 25 yards out to about the 40.5-yard line. 1st and 10, Blue Springs. Dalvin Warmack is now over 100 yards in this ballgame. This time on the zone read, it's Wilson Lamb across midfield and down to the 48.
That's a pretty good read by Wilson Lamb. That play was supposed to stay front side, and he cut the ball all the way back to where there was,
Michael,
nobody's back home.
When I was in pass protection, I didn't mind the guys that were big and strong. I didn't mind the guys that were fast. But the guys like Warmack that had that shake, that was the worst. It was a nightmare because they had that wiggle on for some reason. I'd always go the wrong way.
It's always hard to tackle somebody in the open field because they got so much free grass. But for him to just go either direction and just make you look silly, man.
Here's Warmack shedding the tackler, and he is out of here. Touchdown, Warmack. This one goes for 48.
Great job by Keltner. Again, the inside three. 8 men in the box that time. They brought linebackers up to try to contain the run. But take a look at the push on the inside zone right there. That's Keltner on that job. Great job also, too, by the right tackle, number 7 in that play. Benson seals it on the backside, and there's your lane.
And there you were talking about, Warmack's having a good game, but when is he going to actually break a long one? He just did right there, 48 yards, and made it look easy.
Yeah, you don't run for 2,100 yards unless you break a few of those. And he just broke one off here at the Dome. 34-3, extra point upcoming for Blaine Howell.
Again, great timing on that. We talked about that. Following your blockers. Good job. He came all the way behind Benson, the right tackle.
Dalvin Warmack, a 47-yard touchdown run. And the Blue Springs Wildcats on top, 35-3 now after the extra point in St. Louis.
Hey, great party. Oh, thanks. Here you go. 1 hamburger, medium well.
This is well done.
No. That's medium well.
What? Are you calling me a liar? This thing is practically burned.
That's it. You're not going to come to my house and tell me how to cook a hamburger.
You wouldn't do it there.
That'd be crazy.
So don't do it here. Sportsmanship. It's up to you.
Michael, I love the running game, and here it is, just an inside zone. But watch Jordan Benson on this, and the backside tackle getting to the second level, and then Blaney, the fullback. There it is. Warmack, great job of pressing the line of scrimmage. There's the cutback lane through that B gap, scoot through to change the direction. Now, look at the blocking downfield. Makes it happen.
There's nothing more you can really do. You got a hat on a hat for an offensive lineman. If you got the defensive guys not getting off blocks, you're going to see number 1 or whoever else in the end zone.
Good spacing. Good spacing in the O-line. Creates the crease. But again, good balance, man. Delvin Walker.
A cool 40 rushing touchdowns this season for Warmack. Oh, he's now 18 for 152 in this game and 2 touchdowns in the ball game. Flynn coming this way out to the 25-yard line. Well, Blue Springs came out with that drive, finished it off with Warmack.
What a run.
And so Francis Howell, they were going to try to come out, play their brand of football, get rid of those lights as Coach Koch was talking about. So it didn't really happen on the defensive end. Now it's up to the offense.
It's always important to come out for an offensive team to open up the game scoring in the second half, because you've just reestablished the momentum, and defensively you want to get the ball back to your offense, and that didn't happen for the Vikings. So let's see what kind of pride the Vikings have left.
And this is their best field position of the night, starting field position at the 24. And Harrell is wrapped up. Young was over there, and also Hobbs was over there, but he was tripped up even before that.
Yeah, they've done a really good job defensively in terms of angle charges. Watch the defensive line to the point of attack, ripping through. And again, not making the tackle, but now you're forcing your running back to go sideways, Mike. Wasn't that what it's all about?
Yeah, you want to force the running back to go lateral. If he sticks his foot in the dirt, we've seen what type of running back he can be if he gets north and south. But a running back, he's not as explosive if he's running east and west.
Yeah, good pursuit of the linebackers also, too.
Yeah, Austin Sloan and also Young up front were the guys that really pushed him in that direction and fed him to the linebackers. And I think we have a timeout on the field.
Either that, we're getting yellow flags.
No, it's a flag. It's a flag.
And knocked out by the yellow flags. Timeout.
Yeah.
Okay, timeout. Timeout, Francis Howell. On second down and 11, we'll take a break. 35-3, Blue Springs on top in the Class 6 title game. Show Me Bowl 2012.
Thank you. Can I help you today?
No thanks. I'm just looking. Oh, this is cute. So?
You wouldn't do it there. So don't do it here. Sportsmanship. It's up to you.
Like they're the fashion police.
Agents, when it comes to insurance, people feel lost.
That's a dead end.
Don't know which way to turn.
Turn around.
That's why we present people with options to help them find coverage that fits their needs.
Almost there.
The new Mays record.
Really?
I have no idea. We don't keep track of that kind of stuff.
We are insurance.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
To speak with a farmer's agent in your community, call 888-96-FARMERS.
Boo! Hey, where are you going? You can't get by me. I'm number 1 in this class. I rule this lab. I'm number 1. Hey, I don't think so. Yes! Winner! I am a king! Woo!
You wouldn't do it there. So don't do it here. Sportsmanship. It's up to you.
What?
Jerk.
Welcome back to St. Louis. Blue Springs on top in the Class 6 title game, 35-3 here in the third quarter. Are you saving as much as you could on your insurance? See how your knowledgeable local farmer's agent can save you money. Call 1-800-FARMERS or visit farmers.com. We are insurance. We are farmers. Francis Howell now on second down 11 from the 23-yard line. This is Dante Harrell. He's got the sideline. Across midfield to the 40-yard line of Blue Springs on the biggest play of the night for the Vikings.
And that's why you see why he's the centerpiece of this offense. Everything starts with number 11.
Yeah, just an even front here, and again, got a nice trap block counter, got to the second level, a kick out on Elijah Lee. Everyone sustained their block, so again, counterplay nice for the offense in terms of working against a defensive line that's been just getting up the field, rushing the pass.
That's a 32-yard run by Dante Harrell. And that's what he has looked like all season long. He's got room again, this time up the middle, down inside the 35-yard line. And that is a gain of 6 on first down.
Tell you, finishes well on that play. And again, I like the way he takes the pitch. Like you say, get that outside foot in the ground and get going north and south.
And I like the mix of play calling, changing from an angle blocking scheme to back to his own running scheme.
Yep.
And he's been getting a couple of tips from former St. Louis Rams running back Harlan Harris.
All right.
Actually staying with him at his house. And Harold came from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's like Pittsburgh.
They play some pretty good ball out there too on the East Coast.
And Harrell, with that 6-yard run, is now over 100 yards in the ballgame. Second down and 3. They actually gave him 7. He's got it again, and he's got the corner. Another first down inside the 30 to the 28-yard line, and the Vikings are running the football here in the third quarter.
Yeah, you see the defensive line is offsetting the strength. Strickland, the linebacker on the weak side there, lost contain against the counterplay, got hooked, and that's what opened up the outside lane.
Definitely switching back to that angle blocking scheme again, and 71 Alloway and also 77 Hale.
6'1", 215, the senior, Dante Harrell. At the 28, first down and 10 for the Vikings. Glass will throw it this time.
Oh, push. Oh, my.
Oh, it's intercepted! Intercepted by Caleb Pruitt.
Yeah, but give credit to Trayvon Warmack, 94.
Yeah.
You talk about a truck in the middle. Watch Warmack. I mean, this is not Dalvin, but this is his brother. Watch 94 on the push. Also, too, Jason Young. Talk about closing the pocket. Then Elijah Lee coming on the outside. Ooh, that's ugliness when you put a ball up like that, huh, Michael?
Especially when you got Pruitt, the free safety, just sitting back playing center field, reading the quarterback's intentions, and actually got 2 feet in bounds with it. 2 feet in bounds with their interception. So, nice pro interception. Mike Glass, I mean, it's just a sophomore.
Yep.
He'll be back.
He will be.
Coming this way, Lamb got Shepard. Fazio was there, and then here come the Vikings.
The marauding Vikings. But you know, Michael, it doesn't matter if it's a sophomore or senior. You got to give him protection.
You do.
You got to have your quarterback time to stand in the pocket. And we've seen tonight he cannot stand in there again. When the pocket collapses, quarterback now rolls out. And you know what? Even the best ones, you're throwing off your back foot. It's not a pretty pass.
And how many sophomores do you see starting quarterback Class 6 in the state title game? That's quite an achievement in and of itself. And I know they had their injured quarterback at the beginning of the season, and he stepped right in there. But, man, you just don't see that very often. The senior Lamb gives it to his junior running back, Warmack.
Rugby scrum in the middle.
Yeah, I think Coach Donahoe, he's going to try to play a little bit of 9-on-7 middle drill football right about now. He's not going to put it in the air too much longer if he doesn't have to. Maybe with 3rd and 9 coming up he will, but he's going to try to bleed this clock as much as he can.
Yeah, that was always a fun drill on Michael on Wednesdays when you were still sore afterwards and have to play that.
Loved it. And because, you know, the reason why I love 9-on-7 so much, you get your proper run fits.
Yep.
You know, you need that practice because you have to be able to stop the run. If you can't stop the run, then you got problems on Sundays.
Exactly right.
Lamb on the play action, rolling this side. He's got his receiver. That's Terry. And it looks like he's close to the first down. He's got a first down.
His ability to extend the play all night long, rolling to the right, his comfort zone, and again, able to throw easily. Terry's just, again, creating separation that crossing route underneath.
What was more impressive about that, Wilson Lamb escaped Calvin Munson. Not too many people in the state can say that they've been able to run away with 45 and run away from 45 and been able to talk about it.
Well, when I see Munson, I see Herman Munson, so I'm running quick.
Blue Springs now 7 for 7 on 3rd down. And on 1st down, there goes Warmack. Let's go down to Corey.
Thanks, Neil. You know, nobody's happier right now about the scoreboard than Jeremy Wynn here on the sideline of Blue Springs. He's a huge Wildcat fan, and unfortunately, he was diagnosed with a disease called dystonia. He has constant seizures and has been confined to a wheelchair. He's here with his dad, Steve, because when he graduated in 2007, Kelly Donahoe said as long as he's the head coach of the Wildcats, he will stay on the sidelines and help him call the plays, and he has been very excited with what we've seen so far tonight, guys.
Well, he loves the Wildcats.
Awesome.
Yep. And Baldy, that's the kind of guy Coach Donahoe is. I mean, that's the way he operates.
Yeah, he's just that type of person, and you know, everybody in the school appreciates him for what it is. He's got a winning program here at Blue Springs, but you talk about a person who understands that there's bigger things in life than football.
And there he is, and he sees himself on the big board, too. That is cool. And he's getting a hand from the fans here.
That is nice.
Yep.
Speaking of because I've had a couple of, well, at least one team at Illinois who still playing on Sundays, Brandon Lloyd.
Oh, absolutely. We'll talk about that in just a second. And here's Warmack on 1st down. Well, we did high school games when Brandon Lloyd was playing there. And let me tell you something, Michael, he looked like Deion Sanders because he played D-back back in those days, and he flipped over to wideout really when he went into college at Illinois, your alma mater.
That's right.
And so Brandon Lloyd was one of those guys that was a freak athlete, a 7-foot high jumper, state champion hurdler.
Yep.
And it's no surprise to Baldy and I that he's still doing it in the NFL.
Well, and I'll go tell you a story about him also, too, and what it meant to play for Blue Springs High School.
Here's Terry coming out of the pack. And he's close to the first down. Running him out of bounds is Land.
Just take a look at the run here, right into your living room. Come and take a look at it here again. Nice job on the zone block, creating the edge, excuse me. Nice job of Deshaun Terry. There's the speed, and there's the stiff arm to finish it.
Now, Land hung with him, though, too.
Oh, he did. He hang on.
And brought him down.
That was a good seal block by number 70, the right tackle, Jordan Benson,
Jordan Benson. He's played well tonight. He really has.
Looks like Dalvin Warmack limping a little bit here.
And you can see Dalvin Warmack's only about 175 pounds. And again, you think he's going to get a little bit bigger and stronger. Darian Miller, that was the difference, about 195 to 200 pounds. Extra bit of weight. It's a little easier to take those hits.
It's Bissell. Oh, nice tackle. Really like watching that guy, Jarrett Franklin. I mean, what a big week he had last week against Lafayette, where he had 10 tackles and 4 sacks in that ball game. Ultra quick with some size.
21 sacks on the season. I mean, not only does he play, I mean, he can sack the quarterback, but he plays the run at the point of attack, too.
I thought that was a typo when I saw it. Yeah. Baldy only saw stats like that from Derek Thomas back in the day.
Yeah, that's right.
Who he had to block in practice all the time. Bissell trying the other side this time, and he's got a couple of yards. Yard or two on that play.
Good job by Fazio on the pursuit inside and out. Again, limiting it. Still some gain on the play, making it minimize. You get those running backs going sideways, Mike.
Yep.
It makes it much easier going east and west now. Pursuit angles are easier. Once it gets going north and south, all of a sudden now you've got to change your direction. Those running backs turn up the speed, makes it difficult for the tackle.
One thing the coach told me, a running back has to make the decision to at least come to you. He has to go straight eventually. But if he's running sideways, let him run out of bounds.
Here's Lamb. Intended receiver Shepard had his hands on it. And Lamb has really been on point with his throws tonight.
That ball just a little bit behind Darius Shepard that time. Tough when you're in stride. Now have to reach back and down and try to come away with a big hit.
Hold on a second, Baldy. We can't give him a pass. He's the Otis Taylor finalist for the best wide receiver in Kansas City.
I'm not going to get in the middle of it.
How about the mass substitution here for the punt team? This is the first punt tonight for Blue Springs.
Get the flag in the field. You know, talking about Brandon Lloyd, in 2009, after the Chiefs games, I used to do the interviews. Mm-hmm. And Brandon Lloyd was playing for the Denver Broncos at that time. Get the call on the field. And Brandon Lloyd, I was talking to him afterwards, talking about him. And one of the last questions I asked him, I said, Brandon, you know, Blue Springs tough this year with the loss to Hazelwood Central. Well, the smile on his face went to a blank stare, and I said, well, there goes the end of this interview. Let's get this real quick. So, again, you talked about that in high school. You never forget those games. It's still in your heart forever.
Encroachment, offense, replay, fourth down.
Hey, guys, I'm going to bring up one more name, a guy who I had a hard time tackling, Liddell Betts.
Yeah,
there we go. Of Iowa.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of time with the Redskins. Fair catch at the 24-yard line. Bommarito just completed a new third Mazda Retail Revolution facility located in South County. The ultimate Zoom Zoom experience. And once again, we thank the Bommarito Automotive Group for their sponsorship of high school sports. So Francis Howell was really moving the football last time down before they turned it over. Really went to the well with their guy, Harold. And he's got it again. Nice job of blocking on that right side, and he's forward for about 5 or 6 on first down.
You're correct. You got to stick with the zone blocking right now because the angle charge is on this. If you try to go to gap charge, you go to gap blocking, and I think the man might have hurt his elbow a little bit. Coming off the field, you don't like to see that. His forearm. But again, when you have penetration, you're trying to gap block. Makes it really difficult a lot of times to make those blocks.
Take a look at the end of this play. On a run.
Monte looks like got banged up a little bit on his left arm.
So you can see it. Right?
Just landed right on it.
Yeah, might be that old funny ball.
Yep.
Numb arm and numb for a sec.
Kenny Manning came over to make the stop. New guy in the ball game. And on the tote that time, it's Desmond Nebo.
Throw it coming up to safety that time. Close doing that one. Still first down on the play.
With Desmond Nebo, just a sophomore. I mean, it's hard for him to get on the field running behind Harold, but you can see some of the ability that he's going to have.
Yeah, showed you a little burst there, didn't he?
He got some players.
Desmond, 5'6", 165, the sophomore, had about 300 yards coming in on the season. He's got it again. And the little guy squirts through there and out to the 43-yard line.
Getting a nice push again. Center and guard tackle up front. Good working together well. Here going with some hurry-up offense.
And sometimes, Baldy, you just got to stick with what works.
Yep.
If it's the zone running scheme, that zone stretch.
Keep going. Stroud in the center. Starts with the center position. The snap is made. Good combo block to be the guard. This is where a nightmare happens.
Glass running out of there.
Whoa.
And it's complete. Swampy caught one over there at the 49-yard line.
Talk about turning the corner. How about Elijah Lee at the left defensive end position? Here it is in the clenches and able to escape Jason Young. That's why this young quarterback's got a bright future. Give him some time. He's going to make some throws. Now he's running for his life and still able to make the completion.
It's just being an athlete.
And here's Nebo across midfield to the 47 of Blue Springs.
Nebo getting a chance on the bright lights.
A lot of quickness out there we're seeing from Desmond Nebo.
But if I was fast enough to be a running back, I would have probably preferred the zone scheme because I have a choice as a running back as opposed to running where the ball's supposed to go with angle blocking.
Nebo to the 45. Lee came over to make the stop. And that'll bring up a third down, 3rd and 4.
Yeah, I had Christian Okoye and Barry Word, and it was exactly that. They loved the zone blocking scheme. They was like, guys, just get out, get the defense run, just get a hat-on-hat. There's a 265-pound man running a 4.5 40. Tough guy to bring down.
I used to use Christian Okoye and Barry Word on Tecmo Bowl. Super Tecmo Bowl.
Oh, yes. Pistol formation, Glass. Turns and gives to Harrell, who's back in there. Nice moving up the front there as he scoots forward to the first down marker.
Yeah, they got right there on the linebacker. Strickland, you thought he had him ready for the tackle, and there's that little stutter step. Kick up some extra yards.
Yeah, operating in tight spaces too as well and getting some more good blocks from the left side of his offensive line, and 77 Hale and also 71 Alloway.
And I'm telling you, Michael, I've just seen all the running backs here at the Show Me Bowl, and starting with Zeke Elliott. Again, you're seeing such efficient running, really controlled step, staying in control, putting the football on the right arm. You can see all those off-season programs are really helping these guys develop better football players.
4th down and 1. This is the monsoon package with Munson back there at the Wildcat. And that's effective, picking up the first down.
Inverted wishbone, wild Viking, monsoon, whatever you want to call it. Anytime you want to make your run game more physical, go ahead and give it to the fullback, Calvin Munson / linebacker.
How about Nick Perkins, number 70? I tell you what, we called his name a lot tonight. He's got some nice blocks up front, played well on defense, finishing that time on the outside and threw it to safety.
Well, that's what they call it, the monsoon package Munson. And he picked up the first down. Here's Harrell trying to get the outside, and he won't make it. Running him down there, Austin Sloan.
Jason Young. Watch 41, Jason Young. You want to talk about a get-off.
Yeah.
Here he is in the inside. Just comes across, beats the backside guard coming across his face, reaches out to his left hand, and there's Sloan to finish it up. Whoa.
Yeah, that's one way to beat a zone blocking scheme. Quick penetration.
Yep.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter, as your nose guard is also your 100-meter guy on the track team. Wow. 35-3 at the end of 3 in Class 6. Back right after this. Show Me Bowl 2012 is brought to you by Farmers Insurance and by the Bommarito Automotive Group. Francis Howell, 10th play of the drive that started at their 24-yard line. It's taken 3:36 to get to this point. Nebo and Harrell have been carrying the load here. Back to pass Glass. Has his receiver. Nice hook up there. That's to the 39-yard line as he hooks up with Alec Montgomery. That's his 11th catch of the season. And a nice-looking pass out of the sophomore.
Yeah, but under the pressure, he actually had Eisenhardt on the deep route, but he had to get rid of the ball immediately. So, again, he takes away the big play.
3rd down and 12.
Screen.
And they get it on the screen pass to Eisenhardt.
Buddy, you're going to appreciate this block.
Oh, I know.
By number 71, Alloway.
And Hale also, too. Alloway and Hale, both of them. Watch them, left side of the line, left guard, left tackle. They're going to roll some people up here on the middle screen. Get down there, big fella. Change direction now. Whoa, there's one.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you what, they got some people down, didn't they, Callaway?
Nothing more than an intimidating presence when you see a whole bunch of mass coming your direction.
4th down and 3, and it's time for the monsoon package. Munson has it. He won't get there this time. Blue Springs is tough. Once again, Young is in there.
The one thing about the monsoon package, you don't want to have a running back / linebacker running outside. You want to get that ball right downhill quickly. We've been talking about it all night, Baldy. As soon as you take a step lateral, you lose some of your power, your explosiveness.
Well, the one thing you're not going to have to worry about is misdirection. You don't have to worry about anything coming back around. It's going right on the outside of the tackle. So Clement that time, defense tackle, nice angle charge, creates penetration, destroys the timing of the play. That's why the Wildcat is really kind of, to me, it's not what it all cracked up to be. You know, it's just once in a while thing because you know defensively basically where the football's going.
Yep.
1st and 10, Blue Springs. Ball at their 28-yard line. Leading this ball game 35-3 in Class 6, the state title game. Shepard coming around, and there's that man again, Franklin.
That's with Shepard. I'm pretty sure he's getting closer and closer to breaking one. Just so I mean, it's just a junior.
Yeah, and his dad played at Blue Springs. Lou Shepard was an all-state player.
Wow.
That's how old I'm getting. When you remember stuff like that. 2nd down 9 at the 29 now after a gain of 1 on that play. And this time it's Terry, and he's dragged down again by Franklin.
Yeah, got good penetration, got up the field on that one. Nice job, and then staying outside, turning that back inside, Michael. That's what he's got to do, maintain leverage. Watch Franklin get up the field again, force it back inside, in on the tackle.
Yeah, you saw a little side shuffle. I mean, he's ready to probably play linebacker. Watch him shuffle his feet.
Yeah, nice job breaking
his
down.
His on arm and leg free and taking down Dash Terry. What was it, 4.39?
Yeah, 4.39. Yeah. The Electron coming around. Got slowed up pretty quick that time. Pulled the plug on him.
Franklin making another stop. 7 of 8 on 3rd down tonight for Blue Springs. Lamb going upstairs. And in the coverage land, he was looking for Shepard at midfield. It's incomplete. Bringing up a 4th down.
Really good defense by the cornerback Land. Forcing quarterback Lamb to make the perfect throw again. Not really turning around looking for that ball.
I'd always say to the receiver, always creep towards the number a little bit on that face. So you've got some room so the quarterback can lead you out of bounds.
Yeah.
If you don't move your route in a little bit, especially if the cornerback's leaning on you, eventually you're going to run out of territory.
And this is the first 3 and out of the night. 2nd punt of the ball game.
How about Jason Young coming in as a punt protector? Here's your nose tackle.
Hey, Baldy, what do you think about the spread punt?
Michael, when it came to special teams, we basically went away. We just went away. So I'll defer my comment on that one.
Yeah, the spread punt, you know, these guys are good enough athletes to where they can line up in a regular punt formation and just teach them zone blocking. The punt rushers have to come to you, so all you got to do is just keep your outside arm and leg free with a good inside punch to help your buddy out. But that spread punt, it just kind of
bothers me a little bit. Again, and also, too, that rugby punt now, again, They get these punters looking to see if people are turning their backs in terms on the punt return. They look for the fakes.
Here's Harold. And he's got a gain of a yard on the play. And once again, on the tackle, Austin Sloan, the 6'4", 225 junior.
Even if you get quick penetration in the backfield on Harold, he sticks his foot in the ground and makes the right cut, come back, and continues to fall forward, keeping the playbook at least manageable.
Well, I think it's all those things they do in the offseason, those drills. It's all the change of direction drills, keeping your balance, shows up on the game day.
Here's Glass, has his receiver. Boy, Dante Watkins came up and drilled him. The catch is made by Flynn.
Coming up. Mr. Watkins come up delivering the ball. Looking at maybe, I'll tell you what, if he couldn't sever the ball, he's going to sever the arms maybe on this hit, huh? Rattle some teeth.
Talking about a strong safety, I mean.
That's a strong hit.
That's right. Montgomery's going to think about that play next time, that hit.
Brings up a third down. Glass gets it out in the flat, but Flynn could not hang on this time. That'll bring up a fourth down.
You got to find a way to do something with Elijah Lee, getting that pressure in the backfield again.
Yeah, quarterback's got to deliver the ball quicker, maybe a half a second, a little bit. He feels that pressure, so maybe his mechanics now suffer a little bit. That ball doesn't come out with quite the same velocity or accuracy.
They will go for it on 4th down and 4 from their own 43. Glass going way upstairs. And that one was intended for Brandon Swamp Protest. And we're going to take time out. 8:14 left in this one. Blue Springs on top, 35-3 in the state title game in Class 6.
Agents, when it comes to insurance, people feel lost.
That's a dead end.
Don't know which way to turn.
Turn around.
That's why we present people with options to help them find coverage that fits their needs.
Almost there.
It's a new Maze record.
Really?
I have no idea. We don't keep track of that kind of stuff.
We are insurance.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
To speak with a farmer's agent in your community, call 888-96-FARMERS.
And welcome back to the Dome in St. Louis, Class 6, the title game. Blue Springs on top 35-3, and there goes Dalvin Warmack. Oh, put him on spin cycle at the 30. He's got a first down.
Yeah, Blaney again, just cutting that back. We talked about Jordan Benson. Blaney on the kick out again. There's the crease.
Yeah. There's
Shepard downfield getting on the block, and there's the spin, the Studio 54.
It's tough on the linebackers, or even a safety for that matter, when you see a big of a crease that way and
such a big
lineman.
lane.
Yeah, lineman getting to the second level. Tough.
Warmack now with 160 yards in the game. And here goes Terry.
Shepard.
And down inside the 10-yard line, Deshaun Terry. And he's got a first down and then some.
And tight end Carson Letchworth, number 82. Watch him on the block there at the left tight end. Nice job keeping his hands inside, running with the tight end, with the defensive end. Now walking the tightrope, coming down the sideline. Deshaun Terry speed, athleticism. That man right there, it doesn't happen. You don't get to the edge unless the tight ends get those blocks and seal. He's had a nice night here today.
Yeah, doesn't have a glorified position, doesn't catch very many passes, but he's a part of that run game.
Here's Warmack. Big hole
right there
down to the
Yep.
6-yard line. Tackle is made by Jeremy Hagley.
And you can watch his hands inside. He gets them right on the numbers where they need to be. Keeps moving his feet. Nice job on the stalk block. Hat in the right place. That's an easy run time for Dalvin Womack.
It is. You're just pushing that defender right on by. He's trying to keep his outside arm and leg free, try to keep the ball contained, but if you create that crease.
That big of a crease, tough for support now. Cover that much territory.
Warmack, 23 carries for 181 and 2 touchdowns. Bissell is the lone setback here. Lamb gives him the football, and he's got a touchdown strolling into the end zone.
And right guard, again, it starts on the zone block in the middle on the nose tackle. And then Jordan Benson get to the second level. Nice job initially cutting off Perkins, the right tackle. Cuts Perkins off. Now watch him get to the second level on the safety. And again, guard and center working so well together. Keltner that time. Austin Reyes, they get the push on the nose. And as you said, Michael, creates such a lane, there's just no way you're going to be able to cover that much.
And even more impressive on the backside, number 70, Benson.
Yep.
Getting the safety.
Exactly.
Keeping him out of the play for the touchdown. So.
Well, proper footwork and not allowing Nick Perkins to come underneath, make him stay up the field. And again, you create a countrywide mile. Anyone's going to be able to run a touchdown on that play.
Yeah, tough for any linebacker, safety, unblocked defender to defend so much free grass or open space.
And Bissell with the touchdown. That's his 8th rushing touchdown of the season. He averages 10 yards a carry on the season, and he's doing some of the mop-up work for Warmack a lot of times, but he's been a factor in this game tonight. He's had some big plays.
And he's just a sophomore too, correct? So he's another one of those guys that we're going to be hearing about in the coming years.
Yeah, Kobe Bissell, 5'8", 155, the sophomore. And Blue Springs now on top, 42-3 in the title game. And 4 different players have now scored for Blue Springs in this ball game. They've been spreading it around a little bit here. Lamb and Warmack and Shepard and now Bissell.
I asked Baldy the same question. Is this the best Blue Springs team that you've had a chance to see?
Over the years, I've seen so many because I'm old. And, it's hard to say. I tell you, it's as good. It's as good, right, Baldy, wouldn't you say?
Well, I think up front, it really is. I think this is the best I've seen for the front 5 and also for speed on defense. It's just simply lights out.
Here's Land on the return, and he is driven out by Mason Lally. But, just some of the guys we were talking about earlier, Liddell Betts and Brandon Lloyd. You're talking about some incredible athletes that they've had in the past. Hard to say. It'd be just like you talking about some of the Hazelwood East teams and Hazelwood Central teams and CBC. And, there's some great teams over in this area for sure.
Well, it's just so many of these kids were here in 2009.
Yeah.
So they understand what it takes to play. So you learn at that age that carried it over. Now they come over here, take care of business again. Just an efficient offense, running and passing.
Austin Gates in there at quarterback now. And a whistle on the play.
I think this team takes on the personality of Kelly Donahoe. It's about physical, it's about being physical, and about toughness.
And I'm sure if I ask you what was the best team ever in Hazelwood East history, what would you tell me?
Oh, it was our team.
You see what I'm saying?
Without question. Without question. And, I'm not
You didn't even blink either.
Yeah, I'm not saying that to be, I guess arrogant, but question. It's our team because, we could pass the ball and run and shoot, or we could just ground and pound it out.
Dead ball foul, ball start, offense, replay, first down.
The one thing we did, we blitzed every single play, a 4-4 defense. So man coverage across the board. We're always in the day. Yeah.
How many sacks did you have that year?
16.
My goodness. Here goes Harrell. Getting some space, and he's out to the 35-yard line. And there's a lot to like about this guy. We were talking about it. Coach Koch said a lot of Division I looks are now starting to come his way after moving here from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, good patience on that run.
Yeah, you got to bite on this kid, especially with him slithering through that crease. Yep. He had a couple of purple shirts getting ready to bear down on him, but get him in a nice track program and college speed. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
That's right. A versatile guy. can catch the ball out of the backfield as well.
And even on that play right there, the acceleration, not a lot of yards, but let me tell you something. If you want to go to the next level, one of the two things they want to look at is, A, are you going to pass protect? And B, if there's no hole, you're still going to go up there and run there, put your head in the pile. That time he did.
And, Baldy, I know you like this. Coach Koch told us about Harrell. He always gives credit to the offensive line at all times.
Yeah, I'm telling you what, I like the attitude he has. And Neil, when you talk about a high school team, when I left high school, I was the heaviest guy at 218, so that tells you how long ago I played.
Well, that was a whole bunch of biscuits ago, man, because here goes Gates letting it rip. Far sideline, got his receiver, Richie Eisenhart. And that's a first down. Now, this is a big quarterback here when they use this dual quarterback system, Michael. He is 6'4" and 215, the senior.
You would like to see him get in the game a little bit earlier, just try to show some of his talents. Yeah, but he's a big guy. I mean, he could definitely want to see him get on the field. Maybe I'm sure he could run the ball if they had to, or maybe play a slot receiver. But they needed his arm.
And here's Gates again, and he's got another receiver. This is Swampy at about the 35-yard line.
Swampy climbs to get the football. But again, when you look at what Blue Springs did, not complicated, 4 and 5 yards run. It's tough to get your offense back on the field when they're these grinding out drives and physically wearing out the defense.
And that is a first down at the 35 on that hookup. Inside 4 minutes to play in the state title game here in Class 6. Gates throwing the ball well here. He's got another completion. This is Eisenhart once again. And we just want to take a couple of moments here to thank our sponsors here at the Show Me Bowl.
Yes, sir.
Start off with Farmers Insurance and all that they do for high school sports in the state of Missouri. And once again, another great job of supporting this season here at the Show Me Bowl. Little screen pass. It's rejected by Elijah Lee. He is long at 6'3". Elijah Lee, 6'3", 210, the junior.
Put him on the volleyball team.
Yeah,
the front line, huh?
I thought he had one hand on that ball. I thought he was getting ready to catch a one-handed interception.
Now that would have been smooth. And how about our other sponsor, the Bommarito Automotive Group. You talked about, say it again, Michael, what all they do for high school sports in St. Louis and across the entire state, and their sponsorship of the Show Me Bowl here.
I mean, talking about John, he's very passionate about high school sports, whether it's football, basketball, or baseball. He just always feels that it's important to make a difference in a kid's life, and what better way than to show it every weekend, going to different venues. And I'm sure that you got a chance to do some games in Kansas City and Jeff City, some of those smaller towns, and where people come out and really support their teams, and the communities support too as well.
And Bobberitos was all over the webcast.
Yep,
I think you did a few of those, didn't you,
Michael?
Michael?
I did, yep.
And our Niles Media Group was involved in producing a lot of those on the Fox Prep Zone, and that's becoming a new wave of the future where you can just go online and watch a game on the Fox Prep Zone. So,
no matter where you are in the world, you can always log in.
Gates. And that one was again intended for Swampy. And on fourth down, that'll flip it over to Blue Springs. And they're starting to feel it now.
I think the size and the strength today of Blue Springs on both sides of the line was the difference. You know, as we talk about this, just when I came into the National Football League in 1982, the heaviest lineman we had was Gordon King. He was the right tackle. He was 6'6" and weighed 263 pounds. And he was the heaviest guy. I don't know if he could play safety now.
Right. Yeah, these athletes get bigger, faster, and stronger.
A lot of new folks in the ball game for Blue Springs, getting their chance to play in the state title game. How many guys did they bring with them? Like 100 guys that rode the buses over, the yellow buses, as you pointed out?
Sure. You know, I wanted to mention that, too, because for the freshmen and the sophomores standing along the sideline, you're talking about getting that experience. And then once they have their chance, maybe in a few years, to come back and play in the state championship game, they'll already be adjusted to the stage. All they got to do is go out and play.
Exactly right. And Nick Perkins on the leg hit number 70 in a little extracurricular activities. I don't know if they came over in yellow bus or they came over in C5A, but whatever they came over in, I'll tell you what, it's an army.
Kelly Donahoe just got the shower, I think, on the sideline.
Yeah, well deserved.
Yep.
Couldn't meet a nicer coach. And I guess one thing that I thought that might have played a factor is they came over this morning. I thought they probably would have stayed the night in St. Louis, but they left this morning at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, he said come over and take care of business, and that's what he wants to do. It's a business trip.
Yeah.
Coming over and doing the right thing, and they got it done today. And nothing against Francis Howell. Again, came in that maybe just didn't have the experience here on the big stage. Sure.
Blue Springs on first down. And picking up another first down. Now that's number 16, but I'm not sure that that's President.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's the other 16.
That's the other. When you have so many guys and they just shuttling them in and out. Well, let's talk also about the great season that Francis Howell had.
Yep.
I mean, to make it here to the state title game, play for their first ever state championship.
Yep.
Man, you just got to look at these guys, the seniors that Coach Koch talked about, and really give them a round of applause as well. They've done a great job this season.
I mean, sure, for all the future Vikings at home watching this game, I mean, this is a special class and a special group who got to their first ever state championship game. And, why not come back and be a part of history again, but this time maybe come back and win a state championship in the future. So Francis Howell has some great moments in the season. It's just that sometimes you got to tip your cap going against the better team in Blue Springs who had the experience.
Well, last year they made the semifinals. This year you're in the championship. So last year you made it to the door. This year you knocked on it. Next year you probably kick it in.
That's right. Kick it all the way in and come home with that hardware.
Yep.
But it's the night that goes in the column for Blue Springs. They win the Class 6 state title 42-3 in the Dome in St. Louis.
And Kelly Donahoe, Neil, we had a chance to see them against Blue Springs South. And, crosstown rivals, so I wanted to see what they could do. Heard a lot about the defense.
And last year's state champion.
Yep, and Warmack, I wanted to see how he was running the football and what it was all about. Wanted to see the guys like John Keltner, Kelly Donahoe had told me about him. Got out there and saw him. I said, you know what? This is a championship football team. Yeah. They demonstrated it tonight.
Yeah, one of my old teammates, Justin Lucas, I was just telling you this, Baldy, was the CBC head coach. Well, not the CBC head coach, but one of the CBC coaches. And that's a nice shot right there.
Yeah, it is, man.
With one of those CBC coaches who made the trip from St. Louis just to watch Blue Springs play against Rockhurst. And he said, I love Kansas City, the brand of Kansas City football, because they actually run the ball, bleed the clock, and play good defense.
It's a physical game, and that's what today. It wasn't complicated.
Yep.
It was about 2 or 3 different plays, and that was about it. And they line up and they say, hey, if you can stop us, you win the game. If not, we're going to take hardware, and they did today.
Talking about Wilson Lamb, the quarterback, in control of the whole game, and throwing the ball when he had to, and also looking good, handing the ball off to Warmack.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you don't have pressure in your face, it's easy to look real good throwing the football, and again, move the pocket well, and when you're playing from the lead, then defensively, it's tee-off times. You know that defensively. Yeah. Now you come make a team one-dimensional. It's fun time.
And there it is, the 4th state championship for the Blue Springs Wildcats as they win the Show Me Bowl here in 2012. And it's the 3rd one under Kelly Donahoe.
It's an impressive resume. They just got there in 2002, right?
Yep.
Just to be the head coach, head guy.
And they made it to the state title game in 2009.
Yep. Took care of business this time. Make sure also in special teams got things done. But, they came out and set the tempo, Michael.
They did.
And they never wavered. There was never any chance you thought where maybe this team or some Francis Howell would have a chance to turn it around. They took care of business. In second half, when things changed, it didn't. They came out and went physical with the football. And again, Warmack's 2 big runs right there in the start of the third quarter. That, to me, was really what sealed the fate of this game.
Defense first. They deferred on the coin toss. They wanted to put the big guys up front just to test out, to see, get a feel for the game, how the Vikings were going to come out and try to operate. Once they shut that down, it was history after that.
And Blue Springs wins it tonight 42-3 over the Vikings of Francis Howell. And let's go down to Corey.
Thanks, Neil. We're down here on the field with Delvin Warmack. Delvin, first off, congratulations. An incredible night for you and the Wildcats.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, I owe it all to my line, Wilson, everybody on offense and defense for getting stops. Team ball.
You guys played an incredible game tonight. Tell me, winning a state championship, going to take this trophy back to Blue Springs. What does this mean to you tonight?
I mean, all the hard work that we put in, I'm just happy that it all paid off. And, I mean, there's nothing to describe this feeling. I mean, it's great.
You're a junior. What do you guys do to top this next year? Does the work begin again tomorrow?
Well, we'll take a break this weekend. I mean, Monday, we're definitely getting back at it because I wouldn't mind coming back here again. So,
well, that's an incredible night. You put up some impressive numbers. That offensive line of yours, are they your 5 best friends right now?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm going to take them out to eat until they graduate this year. So, I mean, I love those guys.
All right. Hey, congratulations, young man. Thank you.
I think Baldy wants some of that action.
Well, I know Mom and Dad's going to be giving him one heck of an allowance to play for those guys. I couldn't imagine what that bill is.
Oh, well, he's an impressive young player, and again, he's got another year left.
A well-spoken young man. He's got a voice probably ready for broadcasting and everything.
Dalvin Warmack.
You gave credit to the offensive and defensive line. The game starts inside out. If you can have the big guys, opening up holes, and then you can take possessions away from the offense. Chances look that much better winning the game every single time.
And you control it in the trenches on either side of the ball. It's tough. It's tough to do things. You're usually going to win the game. And again, also too, no turnovers. No turnovers in the game. No costly penalties at all for Blue Springs. And, we saw that last night for Fort Osage in terms of just some penalties at the crucial moments changed the game against Kirkwood right in the beginning of the fourth quarter, and they took advantage of and put points on the board. So, again, for Blue Springs, a complete game top to bottom.
And we had 2 outstanding, energetic, charismatic coaches in this ball game for both sides. These programs on the rise. Obviously, the 2 top teams that end up in the state title game this season, but you heard Warmack talking about going to work on Monday. Well, I can tell you what, Coach Koch is going to have his guys ready to go, isn't he, Michael? I mean,
sure will.
He told us last season that 103 kids in the offseason came into that program. I bet he'll have every bit of that this season.
He'll get the participation that he needs, and he'll get even the younger kids coming around, just try to at least give those guys water until they get a chance to lift some weights. But, you talk about it, the work starts in the offseason, and it carries all the way through the state championship. And that program for Francis Howell, they'll be back.
And I'll tell you what, I always want football players that hate losing more than guys who like winning. That's what you got to feel it. Right now, this sits with you for the whole offseason. I don't care if it's high school level. You don't forget about this night. That's where the focus in the offseason program become bigger, stronger, and faster, better football players.
Well, Coach Donahoe has just done an outstanding job in his 13 years and another state championship. And getting all the love there is Jeremy Wynn. We gave you his story, Corey did, and like you said, Michael, just an incredible sight.
Awesome.
And none bigger a fan of the Blue Springs Wildcats than Jeremy Wynn. We'll take a quick break. Blue Springs state champions in Class 6. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, great party. Oh, thanks. Here you go. 1 hamburger, medium well.
This is well done.
No. That's medium well.
What? Are you calling me a liar? This thing is practically burnt.
That's it. You're not going to come to my house and tell me how to cook a hamburger. I don't grill it.
You wouldn't do it there.
That'd be crazy.
So don't do it here. Sportsmanship. It's up to you.
Welcome back to the Dome in St. Louis. Blue Springs, final game of Show Me Bowl.
Final game?
Did I say final?
Do we have more here? Are you sure?
I'm sure we can find some lights somewhere. Stop and do a game, Baldy. 42-3 is your final score. Blue Springs, Class 6 state champion. Bommarito final game stats. Michael, what do you see there?
Obviously, just total domination from Blue Springs. with the total yards of 394, 24 first downs. And, Bart, if you want to jump in and chime in, what do you see more?
Well, third down conversions, again, I always look at that because now you can continue your drives. And Michael, as a defensive player, me being an offensive player, when I can continue my drive, we can start doing a lot of different things offensively. I can figure out what you're trying to do. I gain the confidence. If you get me off the field and 3 and out, now you've gained the confidence, and I never really get a feel for what you're about on the game. So, again, that's the difference. And up front, bigger guys, bigger and stronger. And in high school, when you're bigger and stronger, you're going to probably win football games.
Yeah, the game starts inside out. And talking about 3 and out, 1 3 and out for the Howell defense, which is something they haven't, done all season long.
Got a lot of folks we want to thank as we go off the air here tonight. How about Jason West of MSHSAA? I mean, he helps us all out to put these broadcasts on, and we give a shout-out to Jason. Our guys in the truck and everywhere, producing the game for Niles Media Group and just doing a great job. Fox Sports Midwest. All of you guys, outstanding work, guys in the truck. Jeff Graham and Dean Andruck. How about Chuck Jackson out there as well? And all the announcers, everybody that's done everything. We go Scott Warman, Jim Powers, Corey Riggs. It's been a lot of fun over these last couple of days.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, man. Thanks for you guys letting me join you in the booth, get some playing time.
I bet you'll get some more, Michael. How about that? Let's keep growing this thing. For Michael Young and Rich Baldinger.
Thank you for joining us, Michael. You put up with us for a whole game. You're a tough partner.
This is Neil Harwell, and we'll see you next time. Congratulations to all the state participants here this weekend. Good night, everybody.